Watching TBPN! Today is Tuesday, September 16th, 2025. We are live from the TBPN Ultradome, the Temple of Technology, the Fortress of Finance, the capital of capital. Good morning to everyone who's watching. We see you. We appreciate you. Welcome to the Tuesday stream. We have a ton of news to go through. First up, ramp.com, time is money, save both. Easy to use corporate cards, bill payments, accounting, and a whole lot more, all in one place. Second, we made it to the print edition of the Wall Street Journal. We made it to the print edition. This is really, really huge. If you're not familiar, not every article that goes out on WSJ.com makes it to the print edition. You got to pass the second hurdle, the second test. You got to be newsworthy. Thank you to everyone who clicked on the link. That probably helped. I don't know.
Thanks. Signal.
I mean, we got a lot of views on the screenshots that we shared, which was crazy.
People were excited about Dylan joining.
Yeah, people were excited. It's a fun time. It's a big moment, and we're happy to make it into the journal. Since the journal has very much in the same way as X, it's the backbone of the show.
As much as the timeline is the backbone.
The timeline might be the femur of the show, but the Wall Street Journal is the backbone, and our sponsors are the tibias of the show.
That's right.
Anyway, we made it to the actual print edition of the Wall Street Journal. This is really, really big. We're very happy about this. And
we've been waiting for this moment since we started the show.
Another bit of Wall Street Journal lore you might not be familiar with. The headline that they use online is often different than what they print in the paper because it's a slightly different audience.
I like
the print edition. So in the online version, they said this podcast is 11 months old. It just hired a president to manage ad revenue. Fact check, true. But then in the print edition, they needed to kind of tighten it up. They didn't have as much ink to work with, they shortened it to Young Tech Podcast Hires President, which I like a lot.
I think they could have shortened it even more to just Young Tech.
Young Tech.
Or Young Technology.
Yeah, Young Technology. So we've been very, very happy with this. Anyway, you can go check it out if you're interested. And people have been really, really supportive of the show. Thank you to everyone in the chat. Thank you to everyone who's been engaging with posts on X. Of course, tomorrow we are interviewing Mark Zuckerberg live.
And who else are we interviewing?
We're interviewing Alexander Wang.
There we go.
I've interviewed him twice. He's a phenomenon. He is probably the greatest entrepreneur of Generation Z. And he's the chief AI officer
This photo doesn't get shared around that much.
It doesn't.
But it's surprising because he looks so good.
He looks fantastic. He's been lifting the weights and training the weights.
That's right.
He's all over the place. It's great. So we're very excited to sit down with Alexander Wang tomorrow.
He really put New Mexico tech on the map.
Yes. Not much going on there before
until
in Los Alamos until he showed up.
Yeah.
But he's been on a generational run and is continuing to build a whole team at Meta as their chief AI officer. We're going to have him break down the structure of the team, how he's thinking about hiring folks. Obviously, he's been on a talent acquisition spree. He got something like 20 to 30% of the Metis list together in one room and said, start cooking. Also, Cryptox has been posting about us. I have a printed post, a little throwback to Cryptox. Cryptox says...
We never stop printing.
Cryptox says, the rise of TBPN has to be studied. How did it happen? They were printing my posts, and now they're hosting the Zuckerberg. Not Zuckerberg, not the Zuck. The Zuckerberg. It's...
a little lore, we still love to print.
We still love to print.
So much, though, we've been running through...
We've been pushing printing technology to its limits. Familiarity with the Hewlett-Packard or Brother printing system is a prerequisite for employment at TBPN Incorporated.
Underrated that we ran the show on Brother printers.
Brother printers they took us a long way.
Yeah.
The first 10,000 subscribers were probably built on the back of the Brother printer, which served us well.
A real brand. We're not joking.
This is a real brand. It's called Brother printers, and they're pretty reliable. We got the black and white version, so it'd print faster. And
they have a great domain.
Yeah, some folks in the chat say bring printing back. We're going to. We got to a point where we had so many posts that were in color and black and white, and like this is a lot of ink. And we would hit print, and it would take like 25 minutes to actually print the full run of show. And then we'd want to look things up, and we want to play videos. And so I think there's a world for printing posts. We want some printed posts. We want to keep the lo-fi vibes, but then also every once in a while it makes sense to pull up a video for everyone or pull up some audio and play it. And of course, share it all and restream. One live stream, 30 plus destinations, multi-stream, reach your audience wherever they are. If you're streaming, got to get on Restream. Anyway, tomorrow, obviously, everyone has seen the leaks at this point. Meta's announcing some new glasses. We're going to be hands-on with them, take you through reactions to the keynote, and then interview a bunch of folks from Meta's leadership team, which we've shared. We shared Boz, we shared Zuck, we shared Alex Wang, of course. But I wanted to get a state of the union on what's actually going on in the VR, AR market. Yep. I've tried the Apple Vision Pro. One of our first shows was talking about the Apple Vision Pro. I had it for 2 weeks. I watched Citizen Kane in it. I experienced some of the demos, wasn't able to really stick with it, and so wound up returning it.
At any point, did you say, this is the future, this is it? Here.
There were pieces of the future that I liked. I liked the external battery pack.
Some of the other people that came out and said, this is it, and then retracted it.
I remember because I don't think we'd started the show yet, but you called me and you were like, do I need to get one of these things? Like my timeline is just flooded with insane, the future is here. Yeah. Like you're missing the boat. It was like FOMO around Apple Vision Pro for a couple weeks, and then it sort of died off. But I thought that there were a few things that they did really well. The screen was fantastic. It really was a step above anything else in the category. And the external battery pack was smart. Of course, the overall headset was still really heavy. And I liked it, even though I liked Oculus for gaming. I played all of Robo Recall, the shooting game. I have a funny story about this too. Did I ever tell you about the first time I went skeet shooting with shotguns?
No.
So I go to my friend's ranch in California, avocado farmer.
That's actually impressive because eventually we're going to run out of stories that.
I know. Yeah. You'd think I'd run out of them by now. But so I go to the ranch, my buddy's ranch, and
so at some point we have to explain this.
Yeah. We will be taking you through
we made a simple explanation.
We cracked the code on OpenAI, by the way.
Can you get a wide angle, please?
So we will be sharing.
There we go.
The full breakdown. Tyler will be breaking it down for us.
It's quite simple if you actually just look at all the individual
and we will be calling. We will thank you for the zoom in. We will be calling Dylan Field to help us create a red string mod for Fig Jam. Of course, if you want to take this level of design to a little bit more professional level, head over to Figma.com. Think bigger, build faster. Figma helps design and development teams build great products together. So anyway, I was going out to my buddy's ranch, and as one of the activities on the ranch, they had skeet shooting. So shotguns, the over/under 2 shells, and this was the first time I'd ever shot a shotgun. Never really shot a gun, and they were playing this game where it's kind of like knockout, and everyone goes, and if you miss one, you lose. But if you miss and then someone else hits it, they get you out, and it's a competition, and the best shooter wins. And I don't know if there was a prize, but I'd never shot. Completely new, but I'd been playing like 4 hours a day of virtual reality shooting in Robo Recall. This is a fantastic game.
How old are you at this time?
Oh, this was like 25 years old, 26 or something like that. I don't know. I was a man. I was an adult.
Okay.
I wasn't a kid.
4 hours a day of Robo Recall.
Something like that. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm exaggerating.
Well, no, you can still put in 996 and play Robo Recall and
we
as long as
know
you
this.
eat while you're playing Robo
we
Recall.
know this, yes.
And then so
but I believe I had one of the highest scores in the world at the time. I was going up against like a friend of mine who was like actually a developer at Meta, and we were like setting different scores, and there were like little tricks that you could do to get better scores. But basically, the whole conceit of the game is that there's a whole bunch of robots that are like running at you, and you have to like shoot them. So I'm practicing in virtual reality, and I'm shooting all these robots, and I get out to the real world, and I'm phenomenal. And I win, and I beat everyone in this shotgun shooting competition. And it actually transferred.
Like sim racing.
It was sim racing. It was
transfers.
It transferred.
Robo Recall.
It transferred. It was fantastic. It was like a remarkable moment. And I think that Quest, even though some of the hype has died down, everything's moved over to AI. There's still a massive opportunity to win gaming. There's also a massive opportunity, I think, to win just replacement for your TV. We were talking about this, like the TV is maybe goated, maybe going to be around forever. But when I watched Citizen Kane in Apple Vision Pro, I was like, this is cool. I could see doing this if it was lighter and cheaper and a little bit cooler. And it also
I think
work
we
in the dark.
can wait to talk about the implications of Meta's new releases until tomorrow because there's been some leaks.
Yep.
But we've also been able to demo the products a couple times now. And can't share.
But what we can share is the X-Real 1 Pro, which is a augmented reality. I don't even know
I'd never
how
heard
we
of this until this morning. You told me about
this. So this has been pumped very heavily online. They do a lot of sponsored content. They do a lot of ads, and it's an augmented reality glasses. We got them. They're on Tyler's face over there. He's looking. Give us a little review, Jordy. How do you think the style looks?
I mean, Tyler's just a cool dude.
So he looks pretty cool. It looks like he just has a pair of sunglasses on.
You do look kind of like an old man. Kind of old man coded.
They're very far away from my face. Like the lens, it feels very like offset.
Yeah, it is. It is a little bit farther. So describe what you're seeing.
Yeah, so it feels basically like I'm wearing sunglasses. I don't know if you'll be able to see if I turn them around, but there's like the main lens, which you can see from like looking at me. And then on the inside, there's like a smaller lens that doesn't cover the entire thing. Yeah. So I'm looking through that. So the field of view of the actual like screen area is not actually that big. But it's basically just like I'm wearing like pretty dark sunglasses. Yeah. And then I can just like see, I have like a screen pulled up. It's just mirroring from my laptop right now. Okay. So it's over here.
So so basically, if you unplug these, there's no battery on board that I can tell. You have to plug it. You have to plug in the end of the what's the arm on the sunglass arm? I don't know, the side little bar. You plug a USB-C cable into that, and then you plug that into your phone, and it mirrors your phone. Or he's plugging into his laptop. Is it a second screen, or it's mirroring?
Right now, it's like extended. So
it's extended.
Like screen.
Okay. Oh, because you have two screens. Yeah. Well, there we go. Yeah. Yeah, you don't need to rub it in. I mean,
so that's pretty.
So how much can you see? Can you see how many fingers I'm holding up?
Yeah, 3.
Okay.
I mean, I can see pretty well.
You can see pretty well.
There's 3 like levels of darkness.
Okay.
So I'm on the lightest one right now.
You're on the lightest one.
It's still pretty dark. Like
Okay.
it's basically like I'm wearing dark sunglasses.
I think I had it on the darkest setting, and I was using it at night last night, and I couldn't see through
Tyler
it at all,
Gold
really.
in the
chat says
looks like he belongs in the Blues Brothers.
I think it's a pretty good look. I watched a full YouTube video on it, about 50 minutes last night, and it truly was full HD. Like I was not seeing pixels. I thought the visual resolution was quite high. What's your review?
I just turned on like the darkest setting, and I cannot see you guys at all.
You can't see us at all.
I can see the lights we have.
Okay, that's it.
Like very faintly, but I can't see you guys at all.
So it's really it's actually changing the darkness of the glasses too. That's pretty cool. I can see the change when you change those. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Wow. There we go. Yeah, it goes dark. I don't know if you'll be able to see that in the video, but I can certainly see it from here. Anyway, so what have you demoed?
What do you think about the user experience of having the screen on your face have to connect to the screen in front of you?
I don't think it's that crazy. I always thought that I want a very concrete first killer app. And so for the iPhone, I was debating this with Mark Andreessen. I think the killer app for the iPhone was just the phone. And then, it had some problems later, but most people bought it just to be able to make phone calls.
Chat's asking for a wrist check. That's a Seiko, right?
Yeah, Seiko SKX.
There we go.
Not really a hitter. Yeah.
Oh, you're getting there.
It's a college hitter.
It's a college hitter.
It's a tasteful choice.
And so I thought that there could be a future where this is a $650 product. It's in the range of an external monitor. And so I think that maybe it's not going to be today, but if you have a college student who has a laptop and they want a second monitor and they're judging between these glasses that are portable, they can bring to the library if they're going there and have a nice big second monitor, or a physical second monitor from Apple or Samsung or anyone else, they might be able to compete on that, even if you just have to plug it in. But what do you think, Tyler? How close are you? How much cheaper than a true external monitor would these have to be for you to choose this over an external monitor?
I think they'd have to be a lot cheaper than $750.
They're not close.
They're also I don't think I would wear these not sitting down. Like if I was moving around.
Yep.
They're like a little too clunky. When you have it, so there's 2 modes. You can have it on the world tracking or just face tracking where it moves with your face.
Yep.
And it's pretty clunky. So it's a little bit. I could see someone getting motion sick.
Yep.
In VR, I don't really get motion sick ever, but my dad does a lot.
Yeah.
So I could see him not using this.
Comp the visual fidelity to the Quest 3S that you tested.
I would say it's very close.
It's close.
Yeah. It's definitely worse than the Apple Vision Pro. I can still see kind of I can do essentially pixel peaking.
Yeah.
And if I move my head like this, it gets blurry.
Yeah.
But overall, I could. I mean,
the field of view is a little narrow. It's pretty easy to cut off the edges if you move your head.
It's a little narrow, but text is totally readable. You could easily read or.
So far, I'm on the train of if I was on a plane and I was leaning back, I would watch a movie on this over just holding my phone like this and watching it there. But outside of that, there aren't that many occasions that I would select this. And even though it is AR and it is pass-through, it's still socially isolating.
I would just say this seems much worse than having your laptop on the tray table.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's when are you on a plane and you don't have your laptop?
Yeah,
so
you could just
would you
put
really
the
use this? So
tray table.
So I give these.
What's your review? 2 thumbs down.
2 thumbs down. That's my official review.
Brutal. What about you?
I think it's pretty cool. I've never used AR glasses before.
Yeah.
I've only ever used VR that has pass-through.
Sure.
And it's infinitely better because in pass-through you can't really you can obviously walk around.
Yeah.
But it's it's a little jarring still. You have to walk a little slowly.
With this, you can actually use your laptop. You can move your hands around, and it doesn't. It's real time because it's just actually you're seeing the real light rays instead of having them reprojected.
So I would say 1 thumbs up.
1 thumbs.
1 thumb up.
1 thumb up. One thumb down.
Are you being honest with us, Tyler?
Are you being too
No,
nice?
I think this is really cool. Yeah.
Yeah?
Okay.
I mean, I
really
don't know if I
cool. Really cool doesn't mean that you're going to use it.
It's a cool demo. I would
cool
not buy
demo.
these.
Okay, one thumb up on the demo.
I would not buy these for $700.
Yeah.
I would buy them for like $150 maybe.
Okay. The question, the age-old question here is we're always trying to get to a churn rate. Yancey?
Goldman in the chat says, ripping analog bogeys. Glad the youth are keeping it going. I think he missed the part where they're like,
there's cigarettes. Oh, there's cigarettes in his pocket. There's cigarettes in his pocket.
I thought he was calling the sunglasses.
No.
Yeah.
And
Tyler's got some heaters in the pocket.
Like Yancey here saying, wish I had a third thumb to give it 3 thumbs down. But so let's assume that they're free. Let's assume that you have won them in a TBPN gap semester challenge.
You're not using these.
Do you think you'll be a DAU in a month? Because we've tried to make you a DAU of Cluely. We failed. We tried to make you a DAU of the Quest 3S. We failed.
On the Quest, I actually have used it.
Oh, you did?
I've used it in the past month. I've used it maybe like 3 times.
Okay. What did you use it for?
I was playing. I think I was playing Call of Duty.
Okay, back in the trenches. The new Call of Duty. The new Call of Duty is dropping soon. Maybe
I don't know which one it was.
Maybe the last
Black
one.
Ops 6 or something.
Oh well.
I would. I don't.
I mean, Call of Duty needs to do the same thing as Apple at this point, and
What is that?
Black Ops 2025.
Oh yeah, they really should.
Well,
Black
there
Ops
actually
7?
was Modern Warfare 2020, I think.
Oh yeah, they did
that's
that,
what it was
right?
called.
Yeah. Well, no, it was because they reset the whole counter. So it was Modern Warfare 1, 2, 3, 4, and then they just were like, let's start over. Let's do Modern Warfare again. And so anytime that you would need to confuse the old Modern Warfare and the new Modern Warfare, people would be like, Modern Warfare, but the 2020 edition.
Okay.
It wasn't Modern Warfare Colon.
So
Dan
also-
Ratliff in the chat has a good idea. He says, get the chat ripping an inch from Tyler's face.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah, can you pull up chat?
Plug the chat into
So you can just see the chat, right?
So I'm looking at myself right now, and they're really dark. It looks like I'm like blind.
Yeah, it does.
So
well, I mean that's mostly because you're indoors. Like if we were outside and you were on a sunny beach or something, I feel like you would look a lot more normal.
To be clear, that is incredibly that's not what you want. You want
glasses
that look like normal glasses.
Yes. I agree. And so like the Meta Ray-Bans, just the current ones that are already out, if someone is sitting at their office with those and they have them in their clear frames, you would just be like, it's as weird as having headphones in. Like it's just like, oh yeah, they're wearing glasses. Like
you can immediately clock these as like something is going on with
totally. Wire coming down your chest really is a nice accent. You might have to thread that through the tie or something.
You're like, yeah, something's going on here. You look like an intelligence asset, you know? You're just like, oh.
If you're in an SF party and
and someone's wearing these.
Pulls out this. Yeah. That's great. Anyway, Vanta. Automate compliance, manage risk, prove trust continuously. Vanta's trust management platform takes the manual work out of your security and compliance process and replaces it with continuous automation, whether you're pursuing your first framework or managing a complex program. Okay, the current thing. Elon, he posted, Daddy is very much home. He's burning the midnight oil with Optimus Engineering on Friday night, then red-eye overnight to Austin, arriving at 5 a.m., wake up to have lunch with my kids, and then spend all day Saturday afternoon in deep technical reviews for Tesla's AI 5 chip design. Then he flies to Colossus 2 on Monday, walks the whole data center floor, reviews transformer and power production. Excellent progress there, he says. Departs midnight, then up to 12 hours of back-to-back meetings across all Tesla departments, but particular focus on AI autopilot, Optimus production plans, and vehicle production/delivery. 16,000 likes. He is back in it. He's in wartime mode.
It's great to see. Like clearly you add politics into his current responsibilities and it's too much.
It's too much.
Like it's just too much.
It's too much.
It's great to see that he's out of that, focused on what he does best.
Yeah. Like the context switching between SpaceX and Tesla always seemed like, wow, how does he do SpaceX and Tesla? But like at the end of the day, you are talking to an engineer in one place and then an engineer in the other place. And it's fundamentally the same conversation. Like how can we design the parts, get them made, put them together, and then do the thing with the parts that at least it's that instead of politics is like completely different. Anyway.
It's crazy to be an entrepreneur and think to yourself, I got to focus more, but then still have like 6 companies.
It is crazy.
It means like I have to work harder and I have to focus more.
Yep.
And normally, if you're running one company, you can say like, all right, we're going to like deprioritize this product.
Totally.
We're gonna, like shut this down. We're not going to do that acquisition.
Totally.
We're gonna do this or that. But he doesn't have that luxury. He just has to.
This was the odd take. Daddy is very much home. You got a lot of houses, brother. You got a lot of houses. But at the same time, House Elon, as I'm calling it, does have some synergies between it and a lot more now that you take politics out of the mix, like you mentioned. So I was thinking, and I don't know if I want to dox them, but I was visiting 2 friends of mine who run a design consultancy together. I pulled into their Los Angeles office space, which they had designed from the ground up. These guys are super into design. They have custom furniture, custom tables. Everything is custom. And I noticed they had 2 identical Tesla Model Ys parked in front of the building. And I was like, that's kind of a funny choice for guys who pride themselves on finding like unique and creative design ideas all day long. Like everything they do is considered unique. I would have expected some bespoke car, like the bespoke office building. And when I talked to them, they had a good rationale behind their decision. They said, what true luxuries are left in the automotive world? It's just self-driving, and nothing comes close to a Tesla. That was their take. You can disagree. But for a lot of people...
we've had self-driving. It's called having a driver. That's the truth. That's the truth. That's the last... Clearly, if you can make the argument that is the final...
Yes.
Because we drove with them to dinner, and both cars...
I wasn't in there, but yeah, you were.
I drove with them to dinner, and both cars made an extremely illegal left turn.
So a human driver would never do anything illegal in a car?
I would
fire
a human driver that made that turn.
Oh, okay.
It was egregious.
It was egregious.
But of course, I agree with the point broadly.
Yes. Sure. Maybe it's not superhuman level. Maybe it's not the best self-driving, better than an actual professional driver, but it's on the path. And it's clearly a notch above the rest of the OEMs. And so Tesla's always been a bit of a wild ride. The company wasn't founded by Elon Musk. He sort of refounded the business. He joined the company 7 months after 2 other co-founders started the initial incorporation. It's been a wild ride in the public markets. There's a barrage of skepticism the whole time, pressure from short sellers. The stock's never traded like a traditional car maker, but it's also never operated like one. So on November 6th, Tesla shareholders, in just, 2 months or so, Tesla shareholders will vote on a very non-traditional pay package. It's $1 trillion for Elon. And Elon's already restating his commitment to the company with this post. Daddy is very much home. He wrote on X this morning. I was debating whether or not the post was ghost written. And where do you sit on it, Jordy? You've read the post. Do you think this is written by Elon?
The original one we covered.
The daddy, not the Tesla. So the Tesla secret plan V4, that felt like it was not written by Elon. It wasn't really in Elon's voice from what I know about him. It seemed like it was sort of written by a team or a committee, or there were like multiple people at the table. There were a lot of M dashes. So maybe there was like a ChatGPT pass or a Grok pass at some point, an LLM pass on top of it.
I could have seen him just talking into his phone.
Sure. And then it instantiated it into a multi-paragraph essay. But this post, I am burning the midnight oil with Optimus Engineering on Friday night, then red eye overnight to Austin, arriving at 5 a.m. Does this feel like Elon's voice to you?
I mean, his voice to me is reposting on the timeline, reposting a meme.
Crying emoji.
Saying, wow. Crying emoji.
It's so true. Yeah. I don't know. I thought this did feel like him. It felt like he just fired it off. But I don't know. There's people debating it. I don't know. I think the more interesting thing is just like, does this reflect rational prioritization at Tesla generally? And so
it's up 20% in the last.
Yeah, and so he's prioritizing Optimus, which Optimus feels like this sci-fi project that's far off. It feels like the demos that we've seen have been very teleoperated. It's not. There aren't these crazy demos. It's certainly not shipping. But if you just think about like what is technically possible right now, and we've seen these videos out of China with companies like Unitree, it doesn't seem that far off, right? Like even if you assume that like Tesla hasn't done any like quantum leap, done something that no one else can do, just catching up to Unitree with great execution and engineering should be possible, right? Like they already make tons and tons of cars. It's a somewhat similar project. And there's also certainly investor demand for an American humanoid robot play. Today, Figure Robotics raised $1 billion at a $39 billion post-money valuation. When was that announced?
That was announced.
Months ago, right? Or leaked?
Like
leaked what, 6 months ago?
It felt like something that was designed to generate interest.
Sure.
And
there were screenshots and emails.
At the time,
and
I
stuff.
was like, I was pretty blown away because that round was being what it was rumored to be getting done at was greater than the market cap of Ford Motor Company.
That's right. Where's Ford today?
Ford is at $45 billion today.
Oh,
and so I saw
bad
the news
take.
today.
Aged like milk, Jordan.
Yeah, I said to John, I said, you might not like this, John. This might trigger you, but
yes.
Brett Adcock has created more enterprise value than Henry Ford. That actually proved to be true. Henry Ford, as of current marks, has generated about $1 billion more.
Okay. Yeah.
We don't need to get into revenue or really try to get into the math.
Yeah, let's skip all that.
But yeah, the question.
I mean, my read on this is just like Figure is nowhere near as like in the zeitgeist as Tesla, and there are clearly investors who want to bet on humanoid robots in America. They can't even buy Unitree stock. I don't know how you would. And so if you just believe that robots are going to be a thing, like investing in Tesla doesn't seem like that crazy of an idea, right? But I mean, he's not just focused on that. He's also focused on the next Tesla chip design called AI5.
Well, one thing too, Unitree is planning their IPO around the $7 billion mark.
Sure. Oh, that's low. Wow. That's low. Where are they? In Hong Kong, maybe?
It's going to be the Hong Kong Stock Exchange.
I wonder what it'll do.
And given that they are,
they're shipping a lot of those robots.
They're selling a lot of pups.
They're selling a lot of. Oh yeah, they're selling the pups. Robo-pups. Anyway, worth a big deep.
I think a Tesla Robo-pup would crush.
That would be good.
I would.
What would you use it for, though? Would you not churn for
just
that?
So I pitched you on an office dog, and you said that's insane. and I thought about it.
Tragedy of the commons situation.
But a Tesla pup that Elon would just be able to zoom into at any time and kind of bark at us if he had announcements. I would be pretty interested in that.
What about a Tesla pufferfish? A turbo puffer fish.
A turbo puffer.
You could search every byte, serverless vector, and full text search. Build from first principles and object storage. Fast, 10x cheaper, and extremely scalable. Check out Turbo Puffer. He's also prioritizing AI5, the new chip. He's partnering with Samsung on that. Makes sense. You need edge computing in a self-driving context. You can't do all the inference in a data center. Colossus, you can do inference in the data center. You're probably training a big model. Regardless of what XAI is doing with Grok, having a bunch of being GPU rich seems valuable to Tesla. Right.
Yeah.
And there's rumors that maybe those companies merge at some point. But the plan overall, like how he's actually spending his time, it seems in line with the opportunity in front of Tesla. It doesn't seem like wildly like off.
He's managed to almost 2x the stock since April.
He certainly like got the flow back.
And I remember, I distinctly remember mid-curving it around April, thinking, just looking at Tesla earnings, look at them losing market share globally, look at the quarters that they had just in the core business of selling cars.
Yep.
And it was just looking really, really, really abysmal.
Yeah, Cybertruck was rough. The Roadster 2 was delayed. There just
Model
wasn't.
3's not selling well. Yeah. None of the cars had been
And then there was all this political stuff where were conservatives going to pick up and start buying Teslas?
You think about it. He lost the left.
Yep.
And then he was losing the right by fighting with Trump.
Yeah.
So who's the base?
Yeah. It was like losses on both sides. But I think that the car buyer has a shorter memory for these things, and will
when you're leasing cars for $299,
exactly
less than an Equinox,
and it does perform well on all the benchmarks essentially.
It is great
value
compared to any other car in that price range.
Yep, totally. And so the bear case here for Elon bringing it back and returning home is that he has multiple homes. SpaceX, Neuralink, Boring Company, XAI. It can't be easy to juggle everything, but at least he's been able to pull back time spent in DC.
Neuralink.
No, I said Neuralink.
Said
yeah. And it seems like there are new plans in the works to consolidate House Elon down to fewer entities so it's easier to manage. Overall, his current Tesla plan outlined in this post is a lot clearer to me than the Tesla secret plan V4 that felt written by a committee, or even worse, an LLM. Even if you're seeing signs of being stretched too thin, it's very hard to root against someone who's already built such a large automotive company in America and is taking a serious run at a self-driving network and a humanoid robotics play. There's lots of froth. But I like Elon being home at Tesla and focused on making science fiction reality. So that's my take on Elon's latest pay package.
John.
Anyway, whatever they're building, they got to do it on Graphite. Graphite.dev, code review for the age of AI. Graphite helps teams on GitHub ship higher quality software faster. We didn't really talk about the Sam Altman Tucker Carlson episode that went out. It was a crazy news day, of course, with the Kirk assassination. But Chrisman went viral, who's a friend of the show. He said, after spending 7 minutes very politely accusing his guest of murder, Tucker just resumes a normal conversation to round out the interview. Incredible. Best to ever do it. And so it goes straight from suspicious death to thoughts on Elon Musk. What jobs will be lost to AI? What are the downsides of AI? Is AI a religion? The dangers of deepfakes. I love it.
Yeah. Do you think this was a win for Sam? Kind of went into
I think every PR person thinks it's a own goal or it's like a mistake to do. I don't know. It was so bold. It was so unexpected. Like it was.
Remember, Tucker had Suchir's parents.
No, you know that's what's going to happen. So you're going into the arena. You're going into the lion's den. You're debating like the most critical critic possible. And there's something brave about that. I don't know.
You're not afraid.
Yeah. I took it as
where you're able to overcome your fear.
As bullish. I think Luke Metro had this post where he was saying that his fear of the going direct movement was that CEOs would never do a hard interview ever again because there was always someone who was willing to do an easy interview with you. There was always, just do your own podcast. OpenAI has their own podcast. Sam Altman's brother has a podcast. He is friends with tons of people. He can come to us and we'll talk to him just about AI and tech and the core business and stuff and have like a business conversation. To go to Tucker is a very, very aggressive, bold move, and I think it's good leadership. I don't know. I think it's hopefully closing the book on that very sad and tragic saga. But who knows? I haven't really dug into like the actual response. Were people in Tucker's community swayed? That's the real metric, probably, because you don't want to come out of that and be like,
Tyler,
wow, I have more.
You're going to Middle America. You're going to interview thousands of Tucker Carlson super fans.
Yeah,
and ask them, did he do it?
Just ask them.
Did he do it? No.
No. Explain to them this. Explain to them the full history of OpenAI, all the connections, and see if they're bullish on the stock. That's what I want to know. Do they think 500 billion is undervalued or overvalued in Middle America? That's what I care about. So we have our chart of the OpenAI and all the connections. Tyler, you were late here last night. You didn't leave last night. You were here all
kind of an all-nighter.
Yeah, I was basically the goal was try to I want to explain kind of in an easy, simple way like how to think about OpenAI broadly.
Oh yeah.
How to think about people who are influencing it.
I think you nailed it
in a as clear of a way as possible.
I think you nailed it.
Okay.
So who do we have here at the center?
Yeah. So I think it's obviously best to start here.
Yes.
This is right here in the middle.
OpenAI.
Okay. So obviously, Sam Altman, OpenAI. This is the core.
Yes. And so every line of string here is a real connection, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Take us through some of it.
Yeah. So we can see over here. These are some of kind of the main deals, right?
Yes.
So we have Larry Ellison, Oracle.
Yes.
We have Microsoft.
$300 billion plan to build data centers. And then Broadcom is obviously doing chips, custom chips for OpenAI now. SoftBank is bankrolling some of it with Stargate. Microsoft has
What's the connection between Johnny Ive growing Daniel?
Okay. So this is actually double. So this is most people on Twitter. They see this picture, they think growing Daniel, but I mean, It's
actually Steve Jobs.
That's Steve Jobs.
It's Steve Jobs.
So it's really a double.
Okay.
So you see, this is pretty good. I want to talk about this. So we have Mark Andreessen.
Yes.
Famous kind of interplay between growing Daniel and Mark Andreessen.
Okay. Yes.
But also, with Steve Jobs
and Johnny Ive. Okay, got it.
And then
you're saying that this goes deeper than
it goes really deep here.
How deep does it go? Let's find out.
Okay, so then let's just keep moving. So let's go to some investors,
please.
So we can go from OpenAI. Let's see, Josh Kushner.
Josh Kushner,
right?
of course.
Okay, but who's Josh Kushner's brother?
Jared Kushner. Where's Jared?
First Trump administration.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Now we're in politics. Let's go down PT.
Okay.
Right. You can see a lot of strings coming out of here.
Yes.
This is a core player.
So
I mean, there's so many directions we can go here, but let's go to Delian. Right.
Yes.
Delian. Where does Delian work? Founders Fund. Who is?
Yes.
It's obvious. Okay.
Yes, it's obvious. You're putting it together.
Okay. Delian's first company.
Yes. Varda.
No.
Oh, first company.
His first company. YC company.
Oh yeah, it was a YC company. That's right.
Company. What was another YC company? Alexander Wang.
Oh wait,
Scala
was a YC company.
YC
okay.
Company.
Where does Alex work now?
Where does he work? Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh, Mark Zuckerberg.
Meta.
Yeah.
Okay. Nat Friedman. They work together. MSL.
Okay. It's so clear.
Who did Nat Friedman sponsor?
Who?
Luke Ferritor.
Oh, Ferritor.
And where does he work? Doge. Elon. It's all connected. And who did Elon start a company with? PT. It goes back.
There we go. Okay.
So
and I see Will Manitis.
So Will Manitis.
How is Will Manitis connected? This is just a joke. He's not actually involved, right?
Well, Will Manitis was a what kind of fellow?
Oh, a teal fellow.
Teal fellow.
That's right. This does
Bang.
go pretty deep.
So, and then we can go from Will Manitis. He's obviously, very popular on X.
He is.
This is another kind of, at some point, there were too many strings. I didn't want to cover too much.
Yes.
But there's a lot of connections here. Obviously, we can go down to Dwarkesh.
Okay.
So he's kind of another
he's a
superpower.
Yeah.
Super connector.
He's interviewed most of these folks.
So let's go from Dwarkesh to Gwern, right?
Okay. Yes.
Gwern, obviously connected, scaling hypothesis, very influential on Ilya.
Yes.
This obviously goes back to OpenAI.
Yes.
It also goes to Karpathy.
Yes, one of the co-founders of OpenAI.
Yes, also Tesla,
Chief scientist.
Autopilot.
Yes.
Back to Elon.
Okay.
Okay, let's go to this side of the board here.
Yes, who we got?
So let's
How is Scarlett Johansson involved?
Yeah, so there's a couple ways she's involved. So obviously the first one, she was in Her, right? The movie.
Yes.
Famously, when OpenAI voice mode was coming out, they wanted to do her voice because that's like the movie, and then she was maybe suing.
And was it Sam or the official OpenAI account that just tweeted Her, and that was seen
I
as
believe it was Sam.
Yes, and it was unclear if the licensing was proper at that point. So there's maybe some backlash, maybe some legal letters traded.
Who else was in Her?
Who else was in Her?
Joaquin Phoenix.
Yes, Joaquin Phoenix.
And he was also the Joker. This is not related to other things.
Yes,
but we're
getting Jokerfied.
Yeah,
it will happen.
Joker. So let's go back to ScarJo.
In a fast takeoff, we all become Jokerfied.
She was in a movie with another actor.
Yes, who?
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
What movie?
Don John, I believe it's called.
That's right, Don John. Yes,
okay,
I remember that film.
So who is Joseph Gordon-Levitt's wife?
Deeper than I.
Whoa, this does go deeper than I thought.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt's wife was previously a board member of OpenAI during the ousting.
That's true.
Took Sam Altman out.
Wow, it's all
obvious?
connected.
How can you not see this?
It's so clear now.
Okay, so now we're in kind of this
effective
ousting,
altruist
safety. Yes, this is all connected here.
Yes.
Obviously to
Helen
Eliezer.
Toner,
It gets really jammed
Adam
up
D'Angelo.
Yeah, because we can go from here to EA and then to Eliezer.
Eliezer, of course.
Right, and here's
Yes.
Eliezer's first organization, MIRI, Machine Intelligence Research Institute.
Yes.
That was, I believe, early on funded by PT.
Okay. How is Eliezer connected to Grimes? Is that Grimes on there?
Well, okay. Do you not remember this famous picture between Grimes, Eliezer, and Sam?
Oh, I do remember this.
Yes.
Good sound cue. I completely forgot that image. That is lore.
Yeah. Okay.
Lore.
So then, Eliezer, very influential on this famous book about safety, Superintelligence by Nick Bostrom.
Okay, Bostrom, yes.
He is kind of this online
philosopher.
Almost part of the blogosphere a little bit.
Sure.
And connected to Scott Alexander, right? who was on Dwarkesh's podcast.
Yeah, he was AI 2027, part of that crew, right? Or loosely
No,
affiliated?
he was a commentator on. Oh, I think he was actually an advisor on it. I don't know if he was a co-author.
He was
but
involved.
He was involved.
He's implicated. He's
implicated.
It's never been clearer that there's a connection.
So let's go. Let's go back to Dwarkesh from here. He was on the podcast.
Yes. How did Will catch a red string just from being a poster on X? Oh, he also works at OpenAI.
He was just through. Will Depew.
Will Depew.
Oh, well, he's obviously. Yeah, I mean, he's at XAI.
No. He's on X. He's at OpenAI, right?
Yes.
Okay, we're getting things mixed up here. Got it.
Okay, we're at Dwarkesh.
Yes, at Dwarkesh. Back to Dwarkesh.
Yes, an early guest of Dwarkesh was Tyler Cowan.
Okay.
Now,
that makes
Tyler
sense.
Cowan runs the Progress Studies Institute.
Yes,
I think that's what it's called.
Okay.
With Patrick Collison.
Whoa, this does go deep.
Now, Patrick Collison, famous for being Irish.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And we see here. This is linked with a lot of
Yes.
Almost
who else is Irish?
Irish cabal, some kind of.
Interesting.
So we see Will O'Brien
conspiracy. Yeah, Will O'Brien.
Will O'Brien. We see Geordie John.
Yeah, we're both
we'll
Irish.
See Joe Lonsdale, I believe.
He's Irish. No way.
I believe that's true.
You're gonna have to fact check that.
I have no idea.
I think that's true. But I mean, the main connection here is Ireland to the Illuminati.
The Illuminati are Irish? Why are they Irish?
Well, it's just general conspiracy. And then here we get a little off the rails. You see George Soros and Fauci connected with the Illuminati as well.
Okay, so you're saying we're 1 degree away.
Yeah.
We're not beating the allegations here. Okay.
But let's stick with Illuminati. Let's go up to Brian Johnson, right?
Okay, how is he connected to all this?
Well, there's some rumors about blood of children, maybe transfusion or something. But really, Brian Johnson is part of this kind of health movement.
Yes.
Right? So who else is part of that? Obviously, Andrew Huberman.
Yes, Andrew Huberman, of course.
And so he's a health influencer.
And once you're kind of in the category of just experts broadly.
Yeah.
So that takes you over to Joe Rogan.
Yes, obviously, because he's a health influencer, but really he's a podcaster at heart.
Yes.
So now we're in this kind of manosphere. We see Theo Von, who's obviously connected in many ways to Alexander Wang,
yes.
to Zuck, to Sam.
Theo Von's really, he could potentially be at the center of this whole thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Potentially.
Given
how many
really in the past year he's become kind of a tech power player.
That's the point of all this red string. You have to see who has the most connections. Moss has got 2. TBPN has like 12.
And I see Raw Milk up in the left corner.
Yeah, how does Raw Milk
You're kind of dancing around that. Are you afraid to talk about Raw
how
Milk?
does Raw Milk?
So we're at Joe Rogan. Let's go back to Andrew Huberman.
Okay.
So another kind of person in the health area, Justin Mayers.
Yes.
I believe
former guest.
He is a fan of raw milk.
He's a fan of raw milk.
He certainly is.
Yeah. But then we see the second string here. Let's just follow this down.
How does raw milk?
Jordy.
Jordy implicated.
Not beating the raw milk allegations.
Okay.
But then
Cuban was taking.
Cuban was anti.
Yeah.
But he's not on the.
He didn't make the board.
He didn't make the board because he's not implicated.
He would have made the board. I think the next iteration is 3D
What's
board.
going on with Larry up there in the center?
So Larry
is he connected to?
Larry's implicated in a lot of ways. So let's just stay here for a second. So we're in this kind of podcasting space. Obviously, David Senra.
Yes.
James Dyson.
Yeah. Latest episode.
Look, this is a very pure. That's the most pure placement on the board, right?
Yes.
Hanging out on his own, just connected to Senra.
Well, he's connected to yeah. James Dyson's just in his lane, just hanging out in Founders Podcast.
Exactly. But let's go from Senra to Larry Ellison. Right. There's been I think
3 episodes.
3 episodes.
Yeah.
He's been on Larry Ellison.
Yeah.
Larry Ellison is also
clear
connected
ties
in a lot of ways to Sam because of the the deal, but also to Elon, right? This famous.
He wrote $1 billion check.
Yeah. I recommend $2 billion, but whatever you think,
Yeah. Help
see.
fund the buyout. I see Rahul Sunwalker on there.
Exactly. Yeah. So Rahul is kind of an interesting person here. So he's connected to Growing Daniel, obviously, because they did this famous stunt.
Yes.
His company is in YC.
Yes.
Which, again, I think we covered YC before, but obviously Sam.
Yeah, it all adds up now.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious there. Delian,
Makes
YC.
sense.
YC is also, there's not a lot of strings here, but you could, pull a lot of strings just from YC.
Now, take me through the chessboard. What's going on over there?
Yeah. So let's go, let's just start with PT again, right? So famous chess player.
It all comes back.
Famous chess player.
Yes.
So obviously connection there. David Sachs also.
Oh yeah, they played chess together.
Yeah, there's that famous
image
photo where Sachs is beating him.
Yes.
And then we see from chess we see 2 other famous chess players.
Yes.
Botez sisters and Magnus Carlsen.
Clearly
they
related to this.
Were I believe they were speaking at the All In Summit.
Oh, they were.
I don't know about this most recent one, but in the past they certainly have.
Puzzle pieces are starting to fit together.
Yeah. So chess is a board game, right? What's another board game? Go. Lee Sedol.
Yes.
Okay.
Whoa.
The famous. Let me go over here.
Also, cigarette smoker.
Exactly. Yeah. Lee Sedol go to smoke. During the famous DeepMind AlphaGo.
That's what happened. Yeah, I remember.
You know, so then
So
obviously
he's connected to Demis.
Yep.
From DeepMind.
Then we see the rest of
the Google team
here. We see Eric Schmidt again connected to PT.
Okay.
In their famous debate.
Yes.
Is
that Will Brown?
Will Brown.
How is he connected?
So Will Brown is.
I think you're letting him off easy here.
Will Brown is Thiel backed.
Okay. Yes.
Because Prime Intellect.
Prime Intellect, of course.
He's also frequent engager.
Reply guy.
With reply guy.
That'll get you on the board these days. If you're a reply guy into Rune.
Yeah.
If you're going back and forth with Rune,
So
you're on the board.
Rune, there's also a lot of strings coming out up here. He's has his hands in a lot of places.
Yes. Fingers in a lot of pies.
Exactly.
Donald Boat.
Yeah, how's Donald Boat linked?
Boat, yeah. So Donald Boat was also one that I could have had a lot more strings coming from. But the main one was, Donald Boat's real recent rise to fame was asking Sam for a GPU, which was sent.
And he also just offered Sam some rice. I think
Oh, really?
He looked
I
like
didn't hear
he
about
got
this.
about 600 pounds of rice on some online arbitrage, and he was offering it up.
Symbolism will be his downfall, potentially. Let's figure it out.
And then obviously Will was also heavily implicated in these kind of Donald Boat sagas.
Yes. I believe he sent him a CPU case.
Yeah, I think. Those are. I would say those are mostly the broad strokes.
I think you're close to figuring it out.
I think it's pretty clear now. I think I understand.
Yeah. So that's kind of like
together.
if you want to think about OpenAI in like an easy way, like who's kind of making a lot of the decisions. How are they being influenced?
This is
even
the
if they're not making the direct decisions.
Simple way to understand OpenAI.
I would say this is kind of a good picture.
This is
a good place to start.
Who the players are.
Massa, you didn't cover Massa, but he's sitting, sort of quietly, confident, not totally in his own lane, but not,
So he's the connection between Sam Altman and Donald Trump on Stargate because he was announcing the Stargate project.
And obviously Trump is linked to a lot of these people like Sergey,
David Sachs,
just because of the recent dinner.
Oh yes, they had dinner together.
Also,
that merits some string.
Here's the Sheikh of UAE.
Okay.
I think there is some Stargate development
Stargate
going
UAE.
on in UAE.
Yeah, they're working on it. Well, thank you for taking us through it. It's pretty crystal clear to me, Jordy. What do you think?
It's surprised it took people this long to kind of crack the code.
Yep.
It's all been out there in the open.
Yeah.
Symbolism will be their downfall.
Pretty easy to figure out. Well, thank you for the hard work, Taylor.
Well done. All it took was one intern and an all-nighter.
Yes.
And I guess a gap semester.
We got to load up all this into Julius and analyze it, find more connections. What analysis? Do you want to run chat with your data and get expert-level insights? In seconds, we saw Raul up on the board. They're loved by over 2 million users and trusted by individuals at Princeton, BCG, and Zapier. Let's continue. Rune, also on the board, was on the timeline talking about making the argument that we are currently in the fast takeoff scenario. Very fun post. He says, right now is the time where the takeoff looks the most rapid to insiders. We don't program anymore. We just yell at Codex agents, but may look slow to everyone else as the general chatbot medium saturates. And so Prinz, there's a bunch of reactions to this. We'll go through it. Prinz says, fast takeoff does not require automation of AI research. The loop starts when AI researchers' productivity starts accelerating due to availability of better and better AI models, including coding agents. Super Dario says this is a little bit of a confusing post, but he says Dario was wrong about 90% of coding being done by AI. Boys in shambles. So if you were thinking that 90% of coding would not be done by AI, you are in shambles because 90% of coding is being done by AI. There's also...
And we have Alex, who's running Codex at OpenAI, coming on later today.
We will press him on, are we just writing 10 times as much code, or are we writing the same amount of code, just 90% more efficiently? What's actually going on? There's a lot of...
replacing engineers yet, or are we just now that engineers can do 10 times
is
as much.
Is it just more leverage?
More of them?
Yes. At what abstraction layer are we operating? And then also just how much is just raw coding a gate to better and better super intelligence? Is that the critical path? Is it just an engineering problem where you need to write a lot of code, or is there something where we need, a vast amount of I was listening to Mark Zuckerberg on Dwarkesh this morning, and he was saying that he's not a believer in fast takeoff because he thinks that at a certain point it just takes time to marshal the resources to build all the chips and a certain amount of time to build all the infrastructure to generate all the electricity, and that will act as a natural slowing function. But there's some good economic news. There's a variety of different data points that we've been looking at to track how fast of a takeoff are we in. Are we going exponential, or are we on our sigmoid grind set? And will we be plateauing at some point?
That'd be a good name for somebody's alt account.
Sigmoid grind set. I mean, it's just, progress historically has been a series of sigmoid functions.
Yep.
Overall progress looks smooth when you zoom out. But if you go inside of a chip company, inside of Intel, like the creators of Moore's Law looks very smooth. But if you actually interview the people inside of Intel, they'll tell you that there were tons of little gains that then plateaued, and they added all those up to get incremental gains. And when you zoom out, you see the density of the transistors and the cost per performance increasing exponentially, but it was a lot of hard-fought wins along the way.
Yeah.
And we're probably seeing something similar in AI. Well, if you need a generative media platform, if you're a developer, go to Fall. The world's best generative image, video, and audio models all in one place. Develop and fine-tune models with serverless GPUs and on-demand clusters.
Look at those logos, John. Adobe, Shopify, Canva, Quora, Perplexity.
Love it.
GenSpark, and many more.
Dean Ball is replying to Rune. He says, if this mirrors anything like the experience of other Frontier Lab employees, and anecdotally it does, it would suggest that Dario's much mocked prediction about AI writing 90% of code was indeed correct, at least for those among whom AI diffusion is happening quickest. And Mark Zuckerberg's been on the record saying that he thinks that Meta will write 90% of code with AI as well. And Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong has also said that the amount of code that's being written by AI is growing exponentially and is probably on the path to being 90% AI written. Certainly haven't laid off 90% of the engineers, and so there's some interesting dynamic going on there. But we'll continue to monitor it.
Anjane at Andreessen.
He's been on a tear. He's posting.
Yeah, he's been posting it up. He says AI models with consumption usage-based pricing are decimating seat-based pricing in ways most teams don't understand yet. SaaS apocalypse in full swing. He had some good supporting charts on that yesterday, showing a bunch of seat-based SaaS companies down and to the right.
Yep. Very, very tricky. We've seen some of them reposition. I mean, Salesforce, I think over a year ago, Mark Benioff was saying we're going to outcomes-based pricing on AI agents. We're gonna charge per resolution, per value. But it feels like some of these models are really sticky, and a lot of the clients are like, we like our current setup, or we're going to go somewhere else. And it certainly allowed other people to kind of eat off their plate.
Outcomes-based pricing, when you're providing software to manage a process, is difficult.
Yep.
Because
what's the outcome?
If somebody's selling, for example, like coding agents, and the agent can do something, and there's a certain economic value to that, and somebody's saying, well, if I had an engineer do this, it would have taken them this much time. It has a clear value. But if somebody's using Salesforce to close a $20 million deal, are they going to want to pay Salesforce some percentage of that just because they had that, when it could have been, one sales rep just grinding to get that deal done? Right?
Lots of questions for the public company SaaS CEOs. A lot of them will have to set up new narratives for how their pricing works going forward. They should be able to bring their products in line with consumption-based models, but I wonder how difficult it will be for them to actually convince their customers to switch over to something that's more consumption-based.
Which the alternative is, Palantir specifically has said, we're doing value-based pricing, right? You're gonna get this much value from what we're doing for you, and we're going to charge you this much, and you can run the calculus.
So the prices are high.
So prices are high, but the example I think we were covering it yesterday said somebody's willing to pay $10 million to do something that's going to make or save them $100 million. That's a trade that people will take. It does seem highly aligned when it can work, and so I mean it makes sense that so many of these companies that have the new business model are kind of ramping so quickly, and that's certainly the result of the like those crazy revenue ramps that we've been seeing. Anywy, get your brand mentioned in ChatGPT with Profound. Reach millions of consumers who are using AI to discover new products and brands. You can get a demo. David Senner has some sage advice from David Ogilvy. Investor in Profound.
Yes.
He rarely invests.
Rarely. David Senner says, quoting David Ogilvy, "I admire people who work with gusto. If you don't enjoy what you are doing, I beg you to find another job. Remember the Scottish proverb, be happy while you're living, for you're a long time dead." It's a good message. Find something that you love doing and stick with it. Work with gusto. And he's not talking.
What's going on here with World Labs?
Yeah. If we can pull this video up. So this is one of the latest persistent generative 3D world. So World Labs is Fei Li's project. She's hiring generative AI model optimization engineers, biz ops folks, research engineers, lots of different folks. But they have a new world model that we can play the video for and see this. This is generated in real time. I think they upload a single image and then you can move around it. And all of this is, you like the music? It's pretty remarkable. Yeah, I mean, it does feel like a video game.
It's very pleasant.
I have a big question about how this productizes still. I was noodling on it months ago or maybe it was a few weeks ago when Google came out with their model. Tyler, do you remember that?
Yeah, I mean, so this is, were you talking about like the video model that you can control around?
Yep. Yeah.
Yes.
This is the same thing, right?
No. So this is different. So this is you can actually go on if you go to marble.worldlabs.ai.
Yeah, I'm on here right now. It's pretty.
You can play with it.
Okay. Yes. So if you move it around, it's basically it's a Gaussian splat.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like looks really good, and then if you keep going, you'll start to notice like the little artifacts and stuff, and then if you go far enough away from like kind of the center spot where the world was originally generated, you'll notice it's like, completely like random, like.
Okay.
So this is a different, completely different architecture than the
Google one. Yeah.
Yeah, because that was basically just a video model.
Sure.
But it would have the overlay of the keyboard, and then when you would interact with the keyboard, it would overlay like the keystrokes onto the video, and then it would continually be like rendering new frames.
Yeah.
So this is just like this one. It generates the world, the Gaussian splat once, and then you can just like move around in it. But it's not like a video that's constantly being rendered new.
Yeah. Oh, it looks really weird once you leave. Yeah. This is bizarre. Yeah, I remember Gaussian splats being popular like a year or two ago.
Yes.
And then they sort of fell out of favor. It felt like they were very compute intense just to generate a single one. And we never got to like the one-click app that people can just download and then play with. There was no like game mechanic built around it. It was very much like tech preview mode.
Yeah, so the big thing that came out with Gaussian splats probably a year ago was that it became very easy to render your own. So like I made one, I think it's on my website, but it's basically like my room that I made. And if you have if you can shoot on RAW, you basically take a ton of pictures of your room from all different, or whatever it is, from a bunch of different angles. Then you can like
load those up.
You load those up. You basically train a model to figure out where the images were taken.
Sure.
And then from there, you can train a model from that, which you can do on like
everything.
Yeah, I trained it locally on my PC.
Okay.
So it's not that compute.
Do you remember like roughly how long the training run took on the?
So I have a 4090. It took like 45 minutes.
So that's not that bad.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Yeah.
But this,
so you imagine with some optimization, you could wind up, and if you're running it on server quality hardware, you could imagine an iPhone app where you take some pictures, upload it, and then it's like push notification in 5 minutes or 10 minutes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But this is the first kind of thing, at least I've seen, of where it's like totally like generated. Like, I mean, usually when you see a Gaussian splat, it's of like a real physical location that someone's taken like drone shots of or something. But like, I mean, these are very clearly like AI generated in some way. Like maybe they trained on video games or something like that. But yeah, usually when you see a Gaussian splat, it's of like a physical location.
Yeah. Can you think of any like practical application for these? Everyone always says like, oh, you'll use it to train robots or like robotic models or something. Like this is like synthetic data for training robotic systems. But I feel like there's a consumer app in here somewhere, whether it's like generating video game levels or something, or like using this as some sort of pipeline for creation of some video game. I keep wondering, and this is a question we'll have to talk to the Meta team about tomorrow. I keep wondering about the like we're getting close to a point where someone should be able to make a game as easy as they make a meme and post it on Instagram. But there isn't really a place where that lives right now. We've talked to a couple YC companies that are like, we will vibe code an app for you that you can put in straight to test flight. But I feel like we're going to do a deep dive on Roblox at some point. But I feel like there's like something that's going to happen in like AI enabled Roblox world where you can kind of like describe and be leveraging a lot of AI tools to describe a world.
Roblox for AI will be Roblox?
Maybe.
Because they're definitely not asleep at the wheel here. We got to get some of their updated numbers. I think they were pulling.
Yeah, Brandon sent me the data. We're going to do a whole deep dive on it. It's pretty probably. Remarkable. It's in the deck at some point, but
we should probably set up an Ultradome in Roblox that people can watch the show to get the next generation, hooked on.
So Dextero has a post here that says, "Steal a Brain Rot game has broken all-time high concurrent player records. Roblox topped out at 23.4 million, while Fortnite reached 542,000." Are these similar products? Or
the platform-wide record, I guess, was August 23rd. Roblox hit a record of 47.4 million players simultaneously across the platform.
Wow. That is a ton. Roblox by itself has more monthly concurrent users than all of Steam, Xbox, and PlayStation combined. And Jeremiah Johnson says, even the most chronically online people have no idea how staggeringly, unfathomably big Roblox is right now. Is Roblox a public company?
Yes.
Yeah, right? They got out.
They had a Hindenburg research.
Whoa. Hindenburg got blown out then because Roblox is way up. It's a $94 billion company now. There's isn't there? I feel like there's a VC that David Senra did an episode about, or at least like met and kind of did a deep dive on, who invested very early and did very well. Fantastic. Do you have any more context to add?
I mean, not about Roblox specifically, but I think broadly, like for gaming, I think there's kind of like two ways to think about like how we can have AI gaming. So one is like the Google kind of strategy of what they've been doing, where it's like the frames are literally like rendered real time, where everything is like all the mechanics, all the the person, the setting, it's all completely like generated on the fly.
Yep.
And then there's like this kind of strategy, which is where like the world is generated, but you're still going to have like the mechanics of the game are still going to be like written normally.
Yeah.
So like if you play around with this, you'll notice like there's no mechanics at all. You can move around, but there's no interaction or anything. Yeah. I assume they're working on like
inventory, health bar.
Yeah, or even just like you can't go through the wall.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess we'll see. But
yeah, I wonder. It feels like it'll be really slow. Like I haven't even heard about a.
Gabe says IKEA has a Roblox store that they pay employees a real wage to work at.
Oh yeah, that's hilarious. So you can go shop in Roblox. You can buy stuff in the metaverse. This is the metaverse.
I wonder what kind of sales that drives, or if it's just
it's just 75% of Roblox's revenue or something. We did just printing for IKEA. It's probably Roblox has got to be bigger than IKEA. What's IKEA's market cap? IKEA market cap. Let's see. Oh, it's it's private. Interesting. Okay, private company. Anyway,
John, I don't know. IKEA's revenue, I think, is well beyond Roblox. Way beyond.
Oh yeah, how big is it?
For 2024 was 45 billion euros.
Okay, so. But it's not SaaS margins here. Like there is a marginal cost to making a table and shipping it. But yeah, I mean, it seems like a fantastic business.
Order of magnitude more.
Yeah. I do wonder. Like it feels like even the basic LLMs, like we've passed the Turing test, we have the ability to just like talk to an NPC in a way that's more convincing than the pre-scripted chats that go into most video games. And yet I still haven't at least heard like a successful story of just a game that broke through that's really leveraging like GPT-4 level technology.
So interesting.
And even the generated images, like just being able to use a older Mid-Journey model to generate textures on the fly. There's this game called No Man's Sky. Are you familiar with this? Probably not. Are you familiar with No Man's Sky?
I've never played it, but I
yeah.
know it is, yeah.
So it's a space exploration game. You move around from planet to planet, and all the planets are procedurally generated. So they're generated somewhat randomly, but then they are like baked down into a database. And so there's a whole bunch of different variables that are randomly like different sliders for like the size of the creatures on this particular planet, the color of the plants on this planet,
how much water.
Dust. Yeah, exactly. And all of that's generated and then saved into the database. And then, but it creates this like kind of unlimited canvas to explore. You could do that in a much more aggressive way with generative AI, but I haven't seen anyone break through. I think it just takes time to actually implement this stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of what like Genie 3 is. I remembered what it was called.
Yeah, Genie 3.
But it's just so compute intensive. I mean, they still are like, it's very much a research preview that they can't run because it's so expensive.
Yeah, you would just think that there would be if you go 2 versions back, you get a model that can actually be baked down to the point where it can run on an Xbox or run on a PC and can generate.
All right, gamers. I got some breaking news for you.
Give us the breaking news.
TikTok's U.S. business details are starting to emerge. One, the deadline for the ban has been pushed back. And details are coming out. The Journal has some reporting.
What's the Polymarket at? Let's pull that up.
Polymarket
must be crashing, right?
Yeah, so right now there is a 24% chance that a sale will be announced by September 30th, 60% chance that it'll be announced by the end of the year. But the Journal is reporting that TikTok's U.S. business may be controlled by a consortium including Oracle, Silver Lake, and guess the last one.
Larry Ellison, personally.
Andreessen Horowitz.
Under
a framework the U.S. and China are finalizing as talks shift into high gear.
Let's go.
The arrangement discussed by U.S. and Chinese negotiators in Madrid this week, remember we talked to Bill Bishop yesterday about the meeting in Madrid, would create a new U.S. entity to operate the app, with U.S. investors holding a roughly 80% stake and Chinese shareholders owning the rest, the people said. This new company would also have an American-dominated board with one member designated by the U.S. government. Existing users I wonder if Trump ends up with a stake for Uncle Sam.
Uncle Sam.
Existing users in the U.S. would be asked to shift to a new app, which TikTok has built and is testing. People familiar with the matter said. TikTok engineers will recreate a set of content recommendation algorithms for the app using technology licensed from TikTok's parent ByteDance.
Okay. Iffy.
U.S. software giant Oracle, a longtime TikTok partner, would handle user data at its facilities in Texas. Both sides are still working out the final details of what the proposed deal and terms could change. Negotiations over TikTok came as both Washington and Beijing lay the groundwork for a potential meeting between President Trump and Xi, with Beijing pushing for a Trump visit to China. That would be crazy. They said, "Thank you for." They want that meeting to happen somewhere where Trump can't fly the Raiders over.
The Alaska shot, that was wild.
TikTok plan to comply with U.S. law. Tech industry executive argue its algorithms must be created and maintained by an American engineering team insulated from Chinese influence. Beyond the financial terms, deciding how to handle TikTok's algorithm has been a tricky part of the deal because it is seen as arguably the most lucrative part of the company. We've got a deal on TikTok. I've reached a deal with China. I'm going to speak with President Xi on Friday to confirm, Trump said out of the White House Tuesday morning before leaving for a trip to the UK. These are very big companies that want to buy it. The framework of the arrangement came together. Anyways, starting to just repeat itself here. But this is big.
Well, if they want to manage their software development process in the new American TikTok, they got to get on Linear. Linear is a purpose-built tool for planning and building products. Meet the system for modern software development, streamline issues, projects, and product roadmaps. I think if Andreessen's buying it, it's got to be all Mark and Ben show. The whole feed, 100% of TikTok content should be the Mark and Ben show.
And Elon, the attention he gets on
A16Z, it's a media company that monetizes through venture. Put the Andreessen content, put your thumb on the scale. Brent, Eric Torenberg, we want your thumb on the scale. Give TBPN a little bit of a snack in the new TikTok, but I want mostly Andreessen Horowitz content with a couple American Dynamis and Vibe Reels, please. That will make America great again. This is the plan.
Portfolio company launch video, one Mark and Ben clip.
Yes.
One regular
Just make the whole feed. Every single TikTok user. They'll love it. There won't be any backlash. I want the thumb on the scale. Truly, that would get me to use TikTok. I enjoy the Mark and Ben show. I enjoy Andreessen's content. It'd be a lot of fun. Anyway, our buddies over at public.com launched a new account on X that you can use to just tag, ask Grok, is this true? You can tag at gen_assets, and you can tag it in any thread that mentions multiple tickers, and this bot will automatically run a back test on their performance against the S&P 500. So I went to a post that was about Tesla and Google, and I asked how are they doing as a pair, and it immediately told me that I massively missed out because over the last 10 years, those two stocks, the tech titans, as they're called here, had 10-year returns of 7,548%. Of course, you'd have to deal with a max drawdown of 56%, but if you held, you did very well with a 70% annual return, and it gives you the link right there if you want to jump in to that. So if you're interested in investing, head over to public.com, investing for those that take it seriously.
Very cool.
Ashwin, who is, we've featured him on the show before. Ashwin says he's opening a coffee shop in Southern California. Here's how he's going to win. He's going to open at 5 a.m. He'll have baristas from New York, so it doesn't take 8 minutes to make your cortado. I don't know what a cortado is. That must be some sort of coffee beverage, but I like the idea of opening early. We were running into this earlier. We left the gym, and there's this cool new cafe on the corner that's making a big push into breakfast. They don't start serving breakfast till 9 a.m. And we were like, they didn't get the memo about the great lock-in. Like you can't. How can you compete in the great breakfast wars?
I've always thought it's funny. Have you tried to get a coffee early in Manhattan?
No,
it's terrible.
It is.
If you're a true,
I thought Ashwin is saying that it's the best in New York.
I don't know. I've had a rough. I mean, if you wake up at 5:30 in New York, good luck getting a coffee. That's not something pre-made at Whole Foods or whatever.
Got to bring a case of the Matayina. Podcast in a can.
This post was funny. The Zoolander-ification of Kyle Samani should be studied.
He's looking great.
He's looking
diced.
It's called a glow up.
It's a glow up.
I think this happens.
Fantastic.
I've seen this happen to other people that make billions of dollars. It tends to happen, but it's not always. And I love to see it.
He locked in. He's clearly hitting the gym. He's looking fantastic. I think this last image is from his guest spot on our show too.
The very
which
last
I love.
On the right.
So I'm glad that we're helping people understand the Zoolanderification.
Sold buccal fat to fund the Treasury.
I think he's
company.
just working out. He's just getting in the gym.
Yeah,
we'll have to get his routine. We got Alex Karp's workout routine. We'll have to get everyone's workout routine.
Geiger Capital here, S&P 500 all-time high, NASDAQ all-time high, gold all-time high, Bitcoin all-time high, home prices all-time high. Time to cut rates.
Time to cut rates. Cheers. Geiger Capital was on a tear. Another post. The Atlanta Fed is now projecting that Q3 GDP will be 3.4%, a massive expansion. The U.S. economy is running hot. I mean, GDP growth is good. I wouldn't really call that running. I mean, it's running a little hot, but you don't necessarily want to pull that back if you're
so
if
hard
you're
now.
growing.
It's
we're in a fast takeoff scenario.
All data is either real or fake. That's all I'll say.
Huh.
So
I know what's driving the higher GDP growth for sure. It's businesses spending less time on sales tax compliance.
That's true.
They got a numeralhq.com. They put their sales tax on autopilot. They're spending less than 5 minutes a month on sales tax compliance, and now they're growing their businesses. They're growing the U.S. economy. It's all
like
great.
Crazy.
America empire continues. The most extraordinary Fed meeting has yet to be kicked off, or has just kicked off. This is from CNN. Federal Reserve officials are convening Tuesday and Wednesday for a pivotal meeting under unprecedented circumstances. On Wednesday, at the conclusion of their two-day policy meeting, central bankers are expected to announce their first interest rate cut since December to support America's slowing labor market, with hopes that President Donald Trump's expensive tariffs might only have a limited impact on
the Fed decision in September on Polymarket has 163 million of volume.
Betting on it.
Currently pricing, that's total volume, but they're currently pricing 95% chance of a 25 basis point decrease.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I mean,
like
the market's at all-time highs, gold's at all-time highs, Bitcoin's at all-time highs, but job growth during the summer was anemic, says CNN Business. Employers added an average of about 29,000 jobs in the 3 months ending in August, according to Labor Department data, slightly higher than July's average, which is the weakest 3-month pace since 2010 outside of the pandemic. There are now more unemployed people seeking work than there are job openings. New applications for jobless benefits in the week ending September 6th rose to the highest level in nearly 4 years. If the Fed cuts, maybe that will stimulate investment in business, take on extra debt. That works its way through the economy. You wind up levering up. And then
something crazy?
Hiring.
Martin Shkreli shorting Open Door.
Oh, he is.
Is
this happening?
Going into a rate cut is crazy.
That is bold.
He said, I shorted Open today at $9.36. This is the first trade I've made in the stock. I will be doing diligence calls with former employees, customers, competitors, and hopefully management too. I will send invites to the calls or anonymous transcripts as appropriate. So
he is becoming a provocateur. Yeah, I mean, he's taking up the mantle of so many short sellers before him. Won't be making a lot of friends, but good luck to him. We already covered TikTok. You put this post in here. In Brazil, an Australian pilot, Timothy James Clark,
why I
break
put this
this
in
down.
here, John?
Yes, why did you put this in here? Well, tell us the story and then explain why you.
Yes, this popped up. In Brazil, an Australian pilot, Timothy James Clark, died in a plane crash with 180 kilograms of cocaine on board. Drugs packaged with SpaceX branding.
Yes, why SpaceX branding?
I have no idea. That's why I just thought it was totally
strange.
strange.
Tech story.
It's really,
you saw SpaceX and you're like, this is business news.
Well, I like following the
you love the traffickers. You love
it. Puts me to sleep at night. I can't, when I'm trying to fall asleep, I can't watch tech content. Then my brain's going to start working.
Sure.
I have to just follow the...
So the drugs were packaged with SpaceX branding. They were recovered from the wreckage of a Sling aircraft.
I just need to know the mindset of somebody who's like packaging, making drugs look like they're SpaceX branding, thinking, okay, if the authorities find this, they're just going to be like, oh, this is something from SpaceX. I don't need to dig in here at all.
Yeah, what were they thinking?
This doesn't look sketchy at all.
This is blatant trademark infringement. You did not license this logo. I wag my finger on this. I do not like this. And a very odd photo of the culprit, the Australian pilot Timothy James Clark. He has a very odd photo with some scantily clad women, but dark story. Hope they prevent future drug trafficking, since we do not endorse anything of the sort on this show.
We do endorse any members of our audience trying to give tips on Nicolas Maduro.
Yes.
On that reward that
we gotta
about.
Stop the narco trafficking. We also got to get on Fin.ai, the number one AI agent for customer service, number one in performance benchmarks, number one in competitive bake-offs, number one ranking on G2. We also endorse Chess, which was on the OpenAI board earlier. Joe Lee has a story here. My friend was a chess grandmaster at 14. By 15, government officials invited him to dinners, and he was giving talks to thousands. Every other type of nerd has gotten their pop culture recognition, except researchers. We're lucky to live in an era where the weird nerd is celebrated. Chess GMs post their moves on Instagram, and it's cool, not weird. Tech founders are household names. YouTubers get invited to the Met Gala. Poker players have TV shows. Gamers have become Twitch millionaires. Researchers get maybe 2 celebrity moments, winning their state fair at 10 and a Nobel at 70. Unless you're Demis. Demis got a Nobel, what? How old is Demis? He's not 70. Beyond that, the people working on the world's most important problems are invisible to everyone outside
49.
Their niche. Demis, the founder of DeepMind and the Nobel Prize winner, is 49 years old. Wow. What a run. He's got another 50 years in front of him just researching easy.
Hopefully he's on Xi's timeline, 150.
150. He could be 20 years out from a midlife crisis. He could be at 75. Does that mean, how old is Xi Jinping? Because if he's going to live to 150, he's in his 72. He's 72. So in 3 years he'll be at half life expectancy. We should expect to see him picking up some sports cars, maybe, crashing out as a going through a midlife crisis at 75. If he's going to live to 150,
maybe he decides I don't want to be in the party anymore.
Yeah.
I want to do something else.
I want to just be an entertainer or something. Maybe I want to be a musician. Maybe he turns into a DJ.
Or he wants to create a social network like Trump.
Maybe. Beyond that, the people working on the most important problems are invisible to everyone outside their niche. Researchers are the final boss of nerd culture that we haven't figured out how to celebrate. Time to change that. Tyler, what's your job?
What is
here?
he talking about?
Joe Lee.
Oh,
yes, we are
celebrating.
We have figured out how to.
We celebrated so hard. We had researchers emailing us saying, "Please take me off the menace list. I don't want the attention."
Yes, it's
which
true.
We obliged.
And the traded cards. We need to continue to celebrate the final bosses of nerd culture, the researchers.
I think they are being celebrated, and I feel like in SF, if you see, Ilya walking around.
Oh yeah.
You're
taking paparazzi photos of him.
People go to the OpenAI that cafe that Johnny and Sam were at.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I'm at the OpenAI cafe.
Give us an update on hype.tbpn.com. How's that going?
Well, the video completely flopped.
It did. Maybe the Vibreel meta is off. Maybe something is tricky. It's very hard to draw attention to a URL in general. But if you're interested in participating in our little questionnaire, where are we in the AI hype cycle, you can go to hype.tbpn.com. And we have the full Gartner hype cycle there. Starts with the innovation trigger.
So we should screen share this.
Goes to the peak of inflated expectations. Then, of course, the trough of disillusionment. And finally, the plateau of productivity. And Tyler has shared some of the results. We're still collecting results. And I believe that the consensus estimate of where we are in the AI hype cycle.
They're putting their hands up.
I think so the yellow dot is where Tyler is, just past the peak of inflated expectations. You're cooling off. Is that correct?
Yeah. I mean,
justify what?
So I don't know if I'm exactly there. I mean, it's very rough. I would say I'm near the peak. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I'm on the left or right side of the curve.
Okay.
I don't know if we're going down yet.
Okay. What about you, Jordy? Where are you? You're not in the trough yet? It's hard to be in the trough given all the good news. The market's at an all-time high. Products are shipping. Products are getting better.
I'm like effectively in where the yellow dot is.
Yeah, coming
But that
off,
doesn't mean things aren't hyped. It's just people realize wait, it's just better search,
Yeah.
We don't have
there was, I mean, if you were following the Eliezer Yudikowsky crew, it was like in next year, there's not going to be any jobs and you're going to be fighting for your life in a Terminator scenario, right? So and it's like, if I'm not holding a gun mowing down robots, I'm in the trough of disillusionment because that's where my expectations were.
Yeah, you can see the bulk is basically where my dot is. It's just past the peak. But you can see all the way on the left, there is one dot.
Yes. Did you see this,
all
Jordy?
The way on the left. So
did you see this? I don't know. Can we go full screen on this? Yes. So there's one person who says when it comes to AI hype, we haven't even started yet.
Okay, so I made a tweet about this.
Yes.
And then friend of the show, Jacob Rinamaki.
Yes.
That's him.
That's him.
He's all the way on the left.
He's all the way on the left.
Okay, his rationale was basically,
no technology trigger yet.
Yes.
We're at 1/10,000th of solar usage of the sun.
Okay.
Right? We're not even close. I mean, we're not even close to what AI could be.
Sure.
So he's just mega AGI pilled.
He is.
We're not even close to.
We're not even close to being like
until we have
the
a Dyson
hype
sphere.
hasn't even started.
I mean, how can we be going down if we don't even have a Dyson sphere?
That's a great take. I love Jacob. He's so much fun. I also like that there's someone on there. There's a few people that said, "Yeah, the hype cycle's done. I'm in the plateau of productivity. We went through it. They experienced the full." And I would love to know from those people. Maybe we should have some on the show or ask them to write out a little bit more of their rationale for where they are. Maybe that's in the V2. We could have put your point and then write a little free text response on why you said that. Because for that person, what is their hype cycle? Like, obviously, is the innovation trigger GPT-1? Is it GPT-3? Is it ChatGPT? Like the default assumption is probably innovation triggers ChatGPT, then peak of it inflated expectations.
No.
Transformer architecture.
Yeah,
maybe you go back further.
It's neural nets. It's
sure,
something like that.
Sure.
I think, like GPTs are probably a little bit higher on the curve.
Yeah, so maybe the trough of disillusionment was like year 5 of OpenAI as a nonprofit, and you're like, yeah, like they did okay against Dota, but they haven't really created anything. I was so excited about this. My expectations were inflated a year or two ago, and now I'm really disappointed. But now ChatGPT comes out, slope of enlightenment, plateau of productivity is, hey, we're building in Codex, we got Claude Code, we got different products coming together, we're actually delivering value. Then they're in the plateau of productivity. I don't know.
Yeah, I think in that scenario, it's like early less wrong posts. Those were the peak of inflated expectation.
That
you
makes
go down,
sense.
And then you see actual people
Okay.
billing.
Well, we'll have to ask the folks who responded. And if you want to play along, go to hype.tbpn.com and vote for where you are in the AI hype cycle. One thing that's underhyped, customer relationship magic from Adio. Adio is the AI native CRM that builds, scales, and grows your company to the next level. You can get started for free. And we have our first guest of the show coming in to the TBPN Ultradome from the Restream waiting room.
Whoa!
Hey, look at this. How you doing?
Let's go.
Ishan.
We're hitting the gong for all you guys.
We're hitting the gong.
What's the news, folks? What's the news?
I'll bring the hardcore team out. We launched ROX to GA.
Fantastic.
We crossed 25 million ROX revenue agents running in the Global 2000. It's real. There's real ROI, and we're coming. So we're ready for business, and we're ready to go.
Amazing.
Fantastic.
What else? Yeah. What else? Give us the update since the last time you were on.
We came on February. We said we'll come back and launch. We've landed. Obviously, we still have RAM, Cognition, and some of the biggest AI companies, but we've landed the #1 for kind of Global 2000 in banking, construction, also Saudi Aramco. We built a sales team, which is amazing. They're now kind of going head to head with some of the big incumbents.
Wait, so how are you positioning the product? Shouldn't you be dogfooding? Why do you have salespeople?
Exactly. So we ran up until recently without a sales team, but now we got to go for market share. So we have a small elite sales team who can go basically work with boards who are rolling out kind of ROX revenue agents after they've rolled coding agents. So every customer's rolled out coding agents over the last year.
Yep.
Now they're rolling out revenue agents, and it's a game of market share and delivering ROI, and we're the fastest to it.
Yeah.
What's the competitive dynamic like? I don't know a bunch of other companies in your guys' kind of like category broadly. Meanwhile, because of how quickly coding agents have got to market, I know I can name a bunch.
The big question is like seat-based versus consumption-based. This is the debate that a lot of people are having on the timeline these days, the SaaS apocalypse or something. How are you thinking about pricing as a durable advantage against incumbents?
Absolutely. So our incumbents are obviously Salesforce. I saw the Carp episode. We're Team Carp here. We focus on time to value. Like we deliver ROI in 90 days instead of 9 months. We focus on pay for agent actions. So the agents do work and customers only pay when the agents do work. It's not seat-based pricing. Yeah. And the last is we do the Palantir style full service forward deployed model, right? So you don't need consultants or professional services firms to implement the software. We do the whole lot. So competitive dynamics is boards want ROI in a quarter or two so that they can change their hiring plans for next year. And we're just trying to basically pedal downhill and deliver kind of ROI fast. And it's only possible because of the team. Like we can outship the market and have built product that works. And now is the time. So
how big's the team today?
I was about to ask.
Yeah, so kind of obviously competing with a multi-thousand employee organization. So core applied AI is about 25 and kind of field plus sales is about 10 more, so about 35 people.
Wow, that's a crazy balance. I like that. That's great.
Yeah, we try to keep engineering as much as possible.
Yeah, and then what's the feedback cycle like from the sales folks that you have that are actually using the product? I feel like, are you hiring folks from product management into sales roles or vice versa? Or are there some product management skills that are uniquely useful?
It's a great question. And one of our sales leaders is actually our pseudo PM. So we have no PMs, no product managers, no project managers. We have engineers who ship, and then we have salespeople who ship revenue. So the feedback cycle is once we land customers, we are pretty much embedded with these customers. We have field engineers or forward deployed engineers. They feed it back to all engineers, and our engineers, everybody here, they're all founders. They're customer facing. And they take all that signal, and we try to ship in days. So we ship multiple times a day. We have major release every week, and that's kind of been the flywheel.
What does the typical forward deployed engineer process look like for your guys' product? I imagine it's not quite as complex as some of the build outs that Palantir is doing for different companies. So is it down to like you need to land an engineer at a company or a small team for a couple weeks, a week, a few days? What does that actually look like?
Absolutely. So we try to do ROI in 90 days, but the first 3 weeks is essentially set up. So we don't do any core engineering out in the field. So that's all done in San Francisco. Yeah. What our forward deployed engineers do is deeply understand the domain. So the number one Global 2000 in the construction vertical is different than healthcare, is different than kind of the military. So we try to really understand the domain. How do they do customer acquisition and success? Encode that into our agents. And then we actually build training content to reskill the whole org, right? So our core mission, if you remember, is to build agents that makes the best better and then reskill the rest to give them a path to be kind of AI native. So that's kind of what our field is doing. So supercharging and then reskilling.
Well, I feel like the opportunity cost of having everyone on your team stand behind you for this interview is insane. We're going to hit the gong and let you get back to the important work that you do. But thank you so much for coming on TBPN today.
Thanks for having us on. And keep crushing. We're all huge fans. Thank you.
Congrats on all the progress, guys. Super impressive.
To you soon.
Cheers.
Bye. Let's go to this post on the timeline from Jerry Howell, quoting the Internet Hippo. This screenshot looks aged. Have you seen this screenshot? It looks like it's been screenshotted multiple times. It has like lore to it.
It's vintage.
The Internet Hippo says, I stepped away from my computer for a moment. When I returned, it was building something. I did not ask it to do this. We're not ready for what's coming. Tyler, do you have any idea what this image is in reference to?
I don't know.
You've never seen that? Wow, Jordy, do you know what
that's? It's a screensaver, right?
Do you know like from what machine or what era?
Not a Mac.
No, I believe it's like a Windows 95 screensaver, maybe Windows.
I just remember this like from like computer lab.
ME.
You remember school would have class.
For sure.
Imagine.
For sure. That was one of the coolest.
Underrated to just think that.
Oh yeah.
That there used to be a class called. For us, it was computer lab.
Yeah. No, you learn how to type on the computer. You get your words per minute up. Anyway, how did you sleep last night?
I put up the best
rough.
night
You got me
time.
beat. I got like a 54. It was a rough night. But if you want to get
Proof
8
of
sleep,
work.
whoa, 99. Let's go. Play some sound effects for yourself. Go to 8sleep.com. Get a Pod 5, 5-year warranty, 30-night risk-free trial, free returns, free shipping. We also
know what I did yesterday?
Yes.
I reduced my caffeine intake by about 120 milligrams.
Okay, that's good.
I think that might have done something.
Dialing it back. That's good. Well, we have Tony from Ingest joining the stream. He's in the Restream waiting room. We'll bring him in. Welcome to the stream. How you doing?
Hey, thank you so much for having me. How's it going?
It's going great. Kick us off with just a brief introduction on yourself and then give us the news.
Cool, yeah. I'm Tony, one of the founders and CEO of Ingest.com. I'm here just to talk about our Series A with Altimeter. We closed the 21 mil round with them. Thanks. Yeah, they're great people. Jamin's a really, really smart guy.
Yeah.
And we also had the follow-on and the continued investment from Andrei, Notable, and the fall, which is great. So, fun times,
Love it. Jordy, you want to hit that
Let's
gong?
talk about, I'll wait till the end.
Okay, we'll hit the gong at the
Let's
end.
talk about what the company does.
Yeah.
What are you guys up to?
Yeah. So we're an async execution platform, dribble execution. We allow you to build workflows as step functions, make it really, really easy so that you abstract all of the infrastructure. Essentially, write a couple different things like step run. We make sure they execute durably. You can write any code in those step functions, and a lot of people use this for AI and AI agents because turns out that that's a really big thing, as you've heard all the time.
Yeah, how did you pick the level of abstraction that you're operating at? There's so many other, like there's companies that they just do the inference, or they just do fine tuning, or they go an even higher level and they sell a complete SaaS solution with an agent wrapped in it. You're in this kind of in between zone. How'd you land there? Do you see yourself moving up or down the stack? It feels like such a flexible time right now in the market.
Yeah, super flexible. Maybe I'll talk about the origin stories and then I'll talk about
be great.
So I used to run engineering for a healthcare company, and healthcare is like, dude, healthcare is so hard. I would not recommend it. Really nice to help people, but the engineering is crazy.
Yeah.
Super workflow driven. And it would take months to build out what should take days. When a patient does this, if they don't do something in a certain amount of time, X, Y, and Z. And so those are workflows. So we initially built the SDK to make it really easy for your product engineer that might be full stack to build these workflows without mucking around with infrastructure. So you don't want to have to create workers, you don't want to have to create queues, you don't want to terraform new things on Kafka. You just want to write some code, deploy it in your existing code base, and have it work basically in a minute. And that level of abstraction is really key, because I think if everyone has access to the same models, and if everyone has access to the same sort of compute, what really matters now is how fast you can iterate on your product, how fast you can actually build the experiences on top of those models. And it turns out that you can build agents for other people, but this particular layer that executes the AI, that runs the workflows, is really tough. And you have to have it done right in order to iterate fast. And so it's sort of this interesting sort of layer on top of the infrastructure that allows people to build and execute. So that was kind of always the plan. Yeah. So I think one of the things that we talked about is, just infrastructureless infrastructure so that you can just write code, deploy it, and have it work, which is sort of a modern version of what Terraform should be.
Yeah.
What categories of agents are you most bullish on today and over the next year? We just because again on the consumer agent side, felt like deep research was the first killer app consumer agent. Before that, everyone was excited about agents, but weren't necessarily daily, even weekly active users of a lot of them.
Yeah, it's interesting. And you were just talking about with the person on before, the whole
sales agents
stuff. Right. Forward deployed stuff, and you see a lot of support. I think for the day-to-day things that everyone uses internally, it's kind of the stuff that you're probably using day-to-day. Claude, Codex, that sort of stuff is killer. I use it for tests. It doesn't do distributed systems well enough for us right now. Yeah. But it's pretty good. And then in the future, I think it's really interesting to see people craft experiences inside their own products. Like Decagon and whatnot have done that for support for some time, which is super interesting. And I'm really, really curious where we go with context engineering and how people can build their own custom agents, which are essentially workflows. So I'm like day to day, for sure, the average ones that people are using, but you take Nano Banana, you throw that in a workflow and you have this really sick agent experience on top of that. It's like, it's pretty good. The world is changing pretty fast. And it feels like everything will end up becoming this, which is craziness.
How's SoundCloud using this? I think that's an interesting case study you have there. I'd love to understand more about how a company that just does, I think of it as like a music player, a library of music. What's their strategy?
Yeah. So music is tough. It turns out that every industry has a lot of depth that you wouldn't realize when you go into it. Everything from like making sure that there's no piracy, making sure that there's no terrorism, making sure that if people want to produce their albums and send it out to Spotify, iTunes, that entire music distribution is also kind of insane.
Yeah.
It requires a lot of workflows too. So there's a lot of stuff that you have to do to operationalize music, either distribution, production, content. And essentially, they were trying to hack together this for 9 months. Their CTO at the time found us somehow. And he had a lot of stuff up and running within a week.
That's amazing.
And their time to production was like insane, from like 9 months to 1 week. They ended up pushing us out to production relatively quickly within like the first few months. And I think they were live in maybe like the first 6 weeks. So they use this for a ton of their stuff. I think they just shipped the ability to create vinyls for your own music that you upload to Spotify.
Wait, like physical vinyls?
Like physical vinyls, yeah.
I'm going to hit the gong for physical vinyls.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I want some. Great hit, Jordy.
We've been looking to make vinyl.
We want to press the show onto vinyl, of course.
We've had people reach out and complain that they want to listen to the show every day, but they only listen to audio.
They've listened to the whole catalog, but they want to listen at the highest possible fidelity.
Do you remember there was that Stripe thing? They made that physical magazine back in the day.
I don't know if you actually
like with paper.
Yeah, it was like physical magazines. This was from Stripe, the payments company. Wow, I know. I somehow missed this. I know Stripe Press. I know the books. Maxis. They are print maxis. I got to get a copy of that. That probably trades at a premium. Probably in the museum. It should be in the Business Hall of Fame, the Business Museum. That's fantastic. Well, we don't want to keep you too much longer. Thank you so much for hopping on the stream. Congrats on the round.
We'll see you at the B.
Say hello to all the folks at Altimeter. We'll talk to you soon.
Cheers.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Let me tell you about AdQuick.com. Out-of-home advertising made easy and measurable. Say goodbye to the headaches of out-of-home advertising. Only AdQuick combines technology, out-of-home expertise, and data to enable efficient, seamless ad buying across the globe. Emmett Shear has a post. The way that ChatGPT and Claude, etc., are all trying to be the portal for the entire internet reminds me a good deal of the first internet boom in Yahoo. I think the ultimate winners will wind up specialized just like last time. Shopping, entertainment, search. So he's thinking Amazon, Netflix, Google, and we'll have similar breakouts. It's interesting. I don't know that I completely like.
And this comment kind of puts him in the truth zone. Yeah. To be fair, Google, Dwayne says, Dwayne says, to be fair, Google did become the portal for the entire internet. Yahoo tried, but Google executed better. ChatGPT has already won for the moment. But whether they're the next Google or Yahoo of AI remains to be seen. They're doing a lot of things right.
Yeah. I wonder how much consumer AI or like
Emmett fires back to close it out. Google's not a Yahoo style portal. They're still way behind on shopping versus specialists, for example. They are search first and foremost, and then also have extended into portfolio of adjacencies. It's not one interface to everything, though.
Yeah. I don't know. I do wonder how the consumer AI apps will fragment. We're obviously going to talk to the Meta folks about personalized superintelligence, and we saw this chart that went up just recently about how people actually use ChatGPT, and there are some pretty clear buckets. Like there are different people using different modes of ChatGPT, from practical guidance, tutoring, teaching, seeking information was 21% of searches, writing was 28%, multimedia, creating an image, that was 6%. And so you could imagine some of those getting peeled off and kind of becoming their own apps that are highly specialized. I tend to believe in aggregation and like Ben Thompson has this point about Google. There was a moment when everyone was saying Google's cooked because of vertical search. So there's going to be Yelp for restaurants, the Google of restaurants. They will do it better than Google can.
Yeah.
There will be travel sites. There will be mapping sites. There will be different sites for searching specific things that people will remember to go to. And Google really did change their entire model. They adapted, they improvised, they overcame.
Yeah.
And
well,
Google
I think
was
the
not
question
ultimately
here,
damaged by vertical search.
The question, I mean, you have to kind of ask yourself how bullish you are on agents, right? Because historically you would search something in Google and then you'd go to a standalone, maybe you'd go to a website or an application. Yeah. Yet there's a lot of websites and applications that I only maybe use once in my life, once a year. Do I actually want it? Oftentimes I'd prefer to have an agent, for example, like book me a hotel, right? These sort of classic examples. And so I think the paradigm is shifting. But without further ado, we have Tomer,
our next guest,
Gusto, coming in
from the Restream waiting room. Welcome, Tomer. How you doing?
Hey, man. How you doing, guys? Thanks
We're
so
great.
For having me.
Thanks so much
Great
for hopping
to see
on.
you.
I'm such a huge fan because I went through YC in 2012. I believe you were in the 2013 batch, correct?
We were in winter 2012. Yeah.
Oh, winter. So is that? I think winter at that point was after summer, or maybe just before.
It's usually
Yeah,
after summer.
It is.
It was March.
Yeah, it usually does come after summer. Now that I think about it. But I remember that I was running. The first the first payroll we ran for our YC company was just literally a $5,000 wire, like from one account to the next. And we were like, everyone needs to figure out what to do with the taxes. And then we got on Gusto, which was then, I believe, Zen Payroll, right?
That's right.
And it solved a ton of stuff, and it was an amazing experience. And Jordy and I have been using Gusto for a long time since.
Ever since. Big launch today.
Yeah, take us through it.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, very, very excited to be here. I'm also a big fan of yours. In fact,
no way.
There we go.
Oh, there we go. Thank you. That's fantastic. And sorry, I need to stop you for a second before we get into launch. Where are you? The office behind you is teeming. Is this just your HQ?
This is the same place that Josh was calling in from.
It's remarkable.
Yeah. Hey, thanks. Yeah, we're in Pier 70 in San Francisco. Okay. We actually have our office here.
Right next to the YC.
Yeah.
Right in front of YC, exactly.
Amazing.
And today, actually, we have this showcase conference. We're doing it for the first time live, and it's really, really cool because you have hundreds of small businesses here, accountants who are all coming in, and we're unveiling a bunch of new products to them. So, we have showcases twice a year. We've been doing it for a while. It's kind of our big 2 product moments of the year, telling the world about all the new stuff you can do with Gusto. We started with payroll, expanded to benefits. We, announced a couple of weeks ago about the guideline. Acquisition, pending approval.
Yep.
And, all the different things that we've been doing over the year, time tracking, HR, and, tax credits, compliance, and other things. But yeah, today we're launching a bunch of really, really important functionality around cash flow. Mm-hmm. So, when I speak with small businesses, often what I hear is that in the context of Gusto, is that the hardest thing where they get frustrated the most and feel like most anxious and kind of unhappy is when they can't make payroll for their employees. Mm-hmm. They don't have enough money in their bank account, right? Mm-hmm. And when you dig into it and learn why and what's going on exactly, it's not that they don't make enough money as a business. The business is growing. They're doing really well. They're doing better than ever. So how can that be, right? And it's all about cash flow. It's all about this tricky thing of like, when does money come in and when money goes out? So often, if you think about it, like I talk with a customer who's like they do like equipment for, different, conferences and things like that, right? Like, lighting and AV equipment and stuff like that. So guess what? They need to buy the equipment and buy the stuff before the event, and they get paid 30 to 60 days after the event, right? Yeah. So you have all this money going out, you have payroll going out, all these expenses going out, and you didn't get paid yet. Yep. And this is like not a random like one-off story. Like this happens all the freaking time for small businesses. And that's true like for consultants that work before get paid and many other type of businesses. So that's what this showcase is about. I'm really happy to share more about the features, functionalities.
No, we're one of the few shows on earth that actually want to understand.
I'm super interested. I have
because we've run businesses our whole life. Yeah. I've been in that position, early on with my first business, where it's just like,
totally.
It's like every 2 weeks. It's like drain
on the account.
Public companies, they got the quarterly reporting. Maybe it's going to switch to every 6 months soon. But with a small business, it's like every couple of weeks, it's like that.
Yeah,
crazy.
So I mean, where I want to start is this sounds like you're going to be lending money or bridging on a short-term basis with small businesses who are on the platform. Where does the money come from? I feel like when we usually hear about a fintech company or business-to-business company starting to offer some sort of credit-like product, we usually hear, they have a facility on the other side. They raised money for this. They're not maybe funding it off their balance sheet. Like, structurally, how does the money flow to the actual customer?
Yeah, exactly. That's a really, really great question. So listen, there's a few kind of products here that come together in order to get people to have better cash flow, so they're not late for their payroll. Yeah. One is just like a set of functionalities about making faster payroll.
Oh,
so
sure.
Payroll, if you remember, often people need to run, like the historical standard is 4 days.
Yeah.
So you run payroll on Tuesday for people to get paid on Friday. Well, that's 4 days of cash that could be in your bank account, and that makes a really big difference because payroll is often the biggest expense that customers, that small businesses have.
Yeah.
So we are launching next day payroll. We're launching same day payroll, and we're also launching instant payroll. So these are 3 new products, all about making sure you have enough money in your bank account at the last moment. So that's
how do you actually do that? Because payroll companies forever have probably loved to say, like, people ask, can you make it instant? And they say, it's not possible.
Yeah, we've heard like, it's the ACH system, it's the government regulation. What's the unlock?
Exactly. Okay, so for these set of products, it's all about actually our relationship with the bank. So,
Sure.
The nice thing about being, on one side, we're a tech company, we're still a startup, we look at ourselves as a startup.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other side, we've been around for 12, 13 years now. Over 400,000 small businesses use Gusto every day. I knew you'd do that. I love it. I love it. I want a gong too today.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me when the gong is coming. Over 400,000 small businesses use our product every day, and with that scale, we now have the ability to work with each individual bank and kind of create partnerships. So in the end of the day, we're actually not taking credit risk on it, and it just uses the kind of some of the newer rails that banks have.
Sure.
I can't go into all the specifics,
Sure.
but this is not like us. But we didn't need to raise any money for this.
But it's a technological solution, which is exactly what you want. You don't want just like, oh wow, now we have this great massive liability that's growing on the balance sheet forever.
No, that's not happening.
Now I have to worry about
there is one thing though.
Yeah.
There is one thing though, which is Payroll Bridge. So Payroll Bridge is a different product, and that's not about making payroll faster, but that's like, even if you still don't have the money in your bank account, even on payday, and you still need somebody to finance that payroll, we can come in and help.
Or maybe even just a piece of it, because it's totally possible that I have $100,000 in payroll going out, but I'm just $10K short, and I don't want to hold up everyone, and so I could maybe take a smaller amount.
Exactly. Yeah. So that happens more often than you would think. Again, it's that kind of cash coming in, cash going out. So we partnered with a company called Paraffin as an embedded partner who's helping us with the loans here. So what happens here is, again, as a customer, you come in to run payroll. Let's say it's a Friday, you need to pay instant payroll on Friday. And then, oh gosh, I'm missing $10K, I'm missing $20,000, $50,000, whatever that is. With our partnership with Paraffin, we take a look at all of your history and we figure out like, hey, can we help you kind of basically make that payroll on us? And then you're going to pay us back later on. So that's kind of that piece. And I think, honestly, it's the biggest pain point in the world of payroll. It's funny, like we've been doing it for 12 years. You would think like, oh, you've already innovated in everything around payroll. There's nothing else coming in. That's not true. Even 12 years later, there's more
SaaS is forever.
Kind of basic payroll stuff. We're also doing it on the international payments, by the way. That's another fast payroll, faster international contract for payments using stablecoin as again now technology that is available now, was not available when we started.
What percentage of the businesses on Gusto do you think are like? I'm sure you looked at the data, right?
Yeah, was this a big COVID
there would have been
boom?
opportunities to launch this feature. You could have launched this a while ago. I'm sure you guys wanted to wait until there was regulatory clarity on stablecoins, but was this something that customers were asking for? Because it's one of those things that it's helpful. I mean, it's helpful to both sides. Like the freelancer benefits because like they're like, okay, when the person hit pay, I got paid. I don't have to wait for, it ends up being more than 4 days. It can be longer than that. And the companies too, historically would just be using these like, random, either like dedicated international payroll platforms or, special freelancer payments platforms, things like that.
Yeah, so totally. I think, the past couple of years, again, there's new technology. So we can use now, and that's both on the banking side domestically as well as on the stablecoin side. That's why we're able to do it today. It takes time until we work with these partners, and often we're the biggest kind of partner they work with. And the reason is, you may have a bunch of startups, technology, fintech companies that are using stablecoin payments or using, instant payments through banks, but they usually have small amounts. Payroll is huge amounts, right? Yeah. Tens of thousands of dollars, sometimes millions of dollars per transaction. So, you really, a lot of these kind of protocols, fintech protocols, when they come out, they have like a maximum limit. So we need to kind of work with the providers and get there. And then, yeah, you're right about the compliance side of it. Like, we work really, really closely to figure out that, one of the things that we do is I think that was a little buzzword before, AI came in and like took away all the buzzwords. But compliance technology, so there's financial technology, fintech, there's compliance technology. And in that world, that's kind of what we do every single day. We think about how do we take all the compliance worries and anxiety that small businesses have, that they don't want IRS knocking on their doors, and then help them, kind of figure out all the compliance for them. There's a couple more features that I wanted to talk about. So one is just Gusto Money. Yeah. It's a new platform. It's a new area for us. When you think about Gusto, you always think about people, right? Pay your people, onboard your people, benefits, all of that stuff. Gusto Money is us entering and expanding into a new world. So that's the world just really focus on cash flow. So, one of the things when we talk with customers is like, hey, I get paid so much later. Wouldn't be like, can you help me get paid faster? Or, when I pay my bills, like, oh gosh, that takes, they need to be paid immediately. Can you delay that payment for me? And that's why we brought in invoice payments as well as like bill pay into Gusto. And we're going to keep investing in that area because it's all connected. Payroll is your largest expenses, but you have a bunch of other expenses in the business. So if you bring it all together to one platform, I think that we can really, really help people with that big anxiety around not having enough money to run payroll and kind of to run their business.
Does that change? Are a lot of these different products feel like they might have different underlying economics? Do you think that they're like the structure of the economic model of Gusto is going to change over the next few years, or is this sort of like purely additive? Like, how are you going to think about actually underwriting like the core business? I don't know what your plans are for the future, but it does feel like some of these are exchange fees or interest rate based, right, or volume based. Others might be seat based. There's a variety of different financial models or economic models. Is any of that changing like the overall structure of where you think the business will be driving value in a few years?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think for us, I would say number one, we're really, really focusing on understanding what are the biggest pain points for small businesses and figure out how we can help them. Yeah. Now, sometimes it means, business models for different products are different, and we're okay with that. Yeah. However, if you still zoom out at Gusto and you look at Gusto as a product and where we're going, by far, like really our majority of what we do is, in terms of business model, is software. Software as a service. You pay per employee, you pay for services, very high margins. This is not like a fintech sort of play. And as you notice, we're using a lot of partners on the embedded side when we do things that are those type of kind of fintech businesses. Yeah. And we really obsess and focus on the user experience to make sure that for the customer, they don't feel like they're being moved from one system to another. It's all behind the scenes. It's all API. So for you, it's just one service. It's Gusto. But that's kind of the core of what we do. We're really, really focused and are really strong on the user experience side for small businesses.
That's great.
What's the most exciting thing in tech to you outside of payroll?
In technology at all? Let's see. I know.
And it's okay to say that your eyes never stray and that it's payroll
the compliance.
Compliance. Payroll compliance.
I love compliance. Listen, I love compliance every single day. That's what I'm living and breathing. And but jokes aside, like the truth is that when you talk with customers, this is not a cerebral sort of like analytical kind of question and like world for them. Like for them, it's missing Friday night with their kids because of this sort of stuff, right? For them, it's like the pain of the embarrassment of like needing to call every single employee and tell them they can't make payroll on time, and then on the employee on the other side, sometimes needing to manage all of that, what that means to your family. So for me, it's I love technology. I live and breathe technology every day. I love your show. That always keeps me up to date to what's going on in the world of tech. But I think the biggest connection for me and the thing that gets me going is that customer pain point and see what software can do to help them.
Yeah. That's great, fantastic.
Amazing.
Well,
hey, I want you guys to come in here next time, though. By the way, we have the showcase.
Yeah.
Here, it'll be really cool. In 6 months, when we do the next one, it'll be cool to have like a live performance here from Gusto.
How many people are there?
How many people are there?
Let's ring the gong for the total attendees. How many?
I think there's around hundreds of small businesses. All right, we got
That's
the
a
gong.
lot of small businesses to show up to a payroll
Amazing.
conference. You love it.
Great to see you.
Congratulations. Thanks so much for hopping on the show. We'll talk to you soon,
Thanks, guys.
Tyler. Have a good one.
Okay, bye.
Great to see you.
Bye. And let's
No one loves software for small businesses more than me.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Don't go.
Daniel Tenrero says the core political divide today is pickleball Americans versus letterboxed Americans.
I'm in neither camp. I don't really participate in either, but I would put myself in the letterboxed American camp. Tyler over there is a pickleball American, right?
I guess, but I'm also I would say I'm more of like a cinephile than a pickleball player.
Okay,
but I've never used Letterboxd.
You've never used Letterboxd?
It's just like it's like Goodreads for movies.
Yeah, it's Goodreads for movies.
Okay.
I feel like there's an
underrated
that
Tiny snapped this up.
Oh, Tiny owns it?
They bought a 60% stake.
Whoa, I had no idea. That's fascinating. Well, the Antichrist lecture is in full swing up in San Francisco. The private jets.
Did they find the guy yet?
Did they find him? The hunt for the Antichrist continues, and it has spawned a ton of fun posts on the timeline. Pablo Peniche says, Peter Thiel talked about this at the Antichrist lecture. No, he didn't. Did you attend the lecture? No. Did you? No. Just people memeing. Growing Daniel says Peter Thiel announced the name of the Antichrist, but I'm not telling. And people are having a lot of fun. Will Menitis said that
it's crazy. I saw some of the protesters showed up like disguised as Satan.
I needed to put some of the protesters in the truth zone because one of the protesters said Peter Thiel's latest acquisition, the U.S. government. And if you know anything about PT, he doesn't buy whole companies. He believes in founder-led firms. He doesn't do private equity deals. So, little bit of a misunderstanding of the financial markets there, protester. Anyway, Tyler, are you bummed that you're missing out on the Antichrist lecture series?
I was just gonna say the protesters are like pretty hilarious. Some of the signs I sent them in the.
So the protesters, it's easy to get riled up by the images of the protesters and see the protesters as like this, like, oh, they're really over the top. They must really be aggressive. But for the most part, like I've seen, there were protesters at just some random FAI conference I spoke at. I actually interviewed Alex Wang there, who we're talking to tomorrow. Tune in. And this is just like Foundation for American Innovation, like a very vanilla tech conference. And
also being able to protest things is important.
Yeah, and so the protester was outside with a funny sign, but people were taking photos with each other. Like it was very, very friendly. I when I first heard like, oh, we're being protested, I was like, oh, what does this mean? Is this like serious? Are they going to be really?
I was going to be protesting outside of Gusto if they didn't roll out instant payroll.
For sure. Anyway, we have our next guest in the Restream waiting room. We have Andrei from Console. Welcome to the stream. How you doing?
Hey guys, doing good. How are you?
Thanks so much for joining. Kick us off with a little bit of an introduction on yourself, what you do, what the announcement is.
Sure. Thank you for having me. Big fans here. Actually, got the
amazing.
whole team. I don't know if you can see them. Kind of
Fantastic.
watching.
I love it.
Hey, turn around, guys. We can see you. There's a little bit of a time delay. Say hello.
There's some delay, maybe. Yeah. So, Yeah, I mean, today we're here to kind of, talking about a Series A announcement. We just there
they are.
They're a little delayed now.
What you got?
We just raised our Series A, DST Global and Thrive Capital.
How much? How much you raised?
$23 million.
There you go. There you go.
Congratulations.
All right.
Cool.
All right. What do you do?
What do you do?
What do you do? I gotta know. You gotta tell us.
Yeah. I'm not going to tell
Stop
you.
burying the lead. Stop burying the lead. Tell us what you do.
Yeah. So we automate IT support using AI agents that understand how your organization works.
Fantastic.
I know.
We're fired up.
We're not just a chatbot. Under the hood, we're basically plugged into all your systems, your apps, your devices. We understand how everything's laid out. So we know, this is John, this is title department manager, the direct reports, the apps he has access to, the permissions in those apps. So like all this data is flowing into console from all these different systems. And then we let you build company policy and processes above that layer in natural language. So we call these things playbooks, but essentially you're able to say, when someone needs a password reset, first ask them this question, then run this action, then do this thing. So that's not converted to code. It's just natural language instructions uploaded to the agent. Just handles that directly in Slack.
How modern is the Wheelhouse customer for you? Because when I started my first company in 2012, we were late enough in the rollout of SaaS that we had no on-premise servers whatsoever. We had no local network. We just had, Google Cloud apps and Gmail accounts. And so everything was managed in various dashboards. And it was an immense hassle to deprovision and provision. But there is a whole other world of companies that have much more complex IT policies. Where are you seeing the most value? What does the Wheelhouse customer look like?
Yeah, so we've started with the kind of more like modern tech companies to get started. So a lot of our customers, Ramp's actually one of our customers. There you go. Shout out to them. They're a great customer. Scale AI, Flock Safety, Webflow. These are all customers that are, they're kind of like internally looking to, they're starting to think about what does it look like? What does IT look like in the age of AI, right? Sure. And I think kind of what happened was, we got it right in the 70s, the 80s, right, where computers started being a thing. And, IT was really this department that was coming in and showing people like, look, get off your typewriters. Here's how computers work. Here's how you can be more efficient. And they were like kind of optimizing business process. And somewhere along the way, kind of like you mentioned, right, we started adding too many apps and there are too many things that were being kind of managed, right? And IT kind of lost focus from being this kind of driver of innovation in the organization to just like stuck in, they're like on this ticket treadmill, right? You come in, you've got 10 tickets, you log out, you've got 15. So you're kind of just like always just handling tickets. And so our kind of mission here is, how do we take IT back to where it was, where, take off the support load from them, handle all of those tickets for them using AI that, again, works the way they do, and then get them back to working with other teams and finding ways to like optimize their process essentially.
How does security fit into all this? I feel like the IT professional is very much the unsung hero, the enemy of the fishermen. The phishing scams. Every place I've worked that's like professional or had a professional email, you get these phishing scams, and I feel like Sherlock Holmes when I clock it and send it to the IT guy. Hey, we're getting a phishing scam, and he's like, I set that up. I sent that to you. I was testing you. It was a test. But yeah, talk to me about security and how that fits in. It feels like I really don't want my IT professional to be able to be prompt injected. There needs to be a human in the loop still, but maybe something else.
Yeah. So, I guess you hit on a couple of things. So, but first, we obviously spend a lot of time internally on security, making sure things work really well. This is my second company. First company, we were doing application security company. We were selling to U.S. government, Fortune 100. So very familiar with, building secure software. And so that's like the first thing. I think, next we think about, well, how do we actually kind of like give the LLM and the AI agent control over the process and like the order that things get done, and like kind of like, this ability to flex with the user and work with the user, but then build more deterministic processes for things like API calls and actually, the things that are more sensitive, right? And so our sensitive actions are actually quite locked down, and you have the ability to, get approvals on them, do MFA checks, honestly, just lock them down. Some companies say, hey, we don't want to reset any passwords with console, right? Like we just don't have to, right?
Yeah.
So you can kind of adopt it as you're comfortable. And then lastly, if you don't support, let's say password resets, your company, you decide that's too risky, we will loop in a human when those requests come through. So the way kind of console works high level is we sit in Slack, instead of having to go to, like a Jira ticket form or something, and you have to fill out, the subject line, and then you're answering, the laptop you have, and you're like, shouldn't IT already know what laptop I have? And you're kind of just going through this list, and you hit it, and you wait for some response. You go into console, you type in your issue, just like you're messaging a coworker. That request goes in. 50 to 60% of the time, we handle it entirely with the end user. And then when we can't, we actually loop a human in. So on the back end, we'll, basically message them and say, hey, like, John is having this issue. Here's everything you need to know about John. And they can jump in, and then the end user stays in Slack, right? They don't have to go to a separate portal or anything like that.
Makes sense. What's the go-to-market?
Did you share any numbers related to the fundraise outside of the headline number? Anything on the business side? Or we stay?
I don't know that we're sharing too much yet. We're doing really well, so we are hiring.
That's a sign
that watching.
Sign that the company's ripping. Give it away.
The number that I got, kind of off the record, but I'll share is one, and that's contracts with Ramp. So that's the headline KPI.
Yeah, the headline KPI.
It's more of a binary metric for success, but it's the only metric of success that matters in Silicon Valley these days. So congrats on passing that binary test. Talk to me about the go-to-market. Based on the size of customer, I'm super interested to know, is this like steak dinners, hand-to-hand combat, phone calls, just direct response? Are you G2 hacking? What's going on?
I mean, we are very flexible. We'll do what it takes, right? I think the standard process is actually, we'll connect with some folks, someone on the IT team, usually some, head of IT, director of IT, and we'll give them a demo. Usually they have some AI initiative internally where they're, looking at, again, how do we make IT more efficient or kind of like rethink how we do this. We do a demo. Usually they're sold. We do a POC right after that. So to get into a POC, we do like an we do like a full product deploy into their systems. We'll do things like, company security review, legal, whatever. Then we'll go live. About 3 weeks is usually how long we do like a POC for. So usually within the first week, what we like to say is you're actually in a good enough spot to go live company-wide.
Sure.
We spend the rest 2 weeks just kind of like dialing it in. But we go live pretty quickly. I think Scale actually went live in about 3 weeks during the POC company-wide because they were just seeing so much success with it.
Are you positioning the product as like purely additive to the existing IT systems, plug in with everything? Are you seeing folks rip out legacy systems that they maybe developed themselves or legacy competitors? What is the trade-off that the buyer is making at the moment?
Yeah. Shouldn't be any trade-off. Our goal when we started the company was like, look, you're already managing a bunch of systems. If we come in and we say, well, if you want to use console, you want to use AI, you have to replace half your systems. That's just going to be a non-starter for really busy teams. And so what we do instead is we actually build really deep integrations into, as much of your tool stack as possible. So we integrate very deeply into like Okta, Google, Slack, even your Jira, right? Like we don't have to replace your ITSM. So your ticketing tool, you can actually keep that. You've spent a lot of time configuring it and building it out. You can actually you can basically put console in front of that and act as like your first line of defense. And the reason we're able to do that, I know it's kind of like an odd situation. Like, what do you mean you're not replacing any core system? Is we're actually like doing work. So we don't need to replace your ticketing tool because we actually do 50, 60% of your, the requests that you're getting without human involvement. And so that's often.
Do you just try to generally charge for the value? Obviously, if you're doing 50 to 60% of the work, that's saving. That's at least sounds like one to many people's time. But how do you charge for it?
Yeah, so we just charge per end user per month, basically. So
cool.
The number of employees you've got in the company, we kind of have like a base price that we use, and we discount as a company gets larger. But we try to keep pricing pretty static. I know there's this trend to look at usage-based pricing and so on. What we found is, one, that can be a little confusing. Credits and things are hard to like estimate, especially up front. And so what we found is like IT teams actually really like the predictability of knowing, okay, for this year I'm going to pay this much money for this tool, and we kind of think of it as, if you feel like you're getting you're getting more value out of it than you're paying, then great, that's good for you. So
awesome. Well, thank you for driving efficiency in the enterprise.
This is something we need. I don't want to share. I don't want to dox anyone, but we definitely have some interns running wild with access to systems that I would love to be able to just fire off an agent to go clean up, because you can't trust Tyler with the access to the root keys to this kingdom. Anything could happen. I want to be able to snap my fingers and deprovision him, turn off his ramp card before he buys more.
Awesome.
Well, you know where to find him.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for hopping on. We'll talk to you soon.
Great to hang, and congrats on the round.
Bye.
What else we got going on?
We got Bezel. We got getbezel.com. Your Bezel concierge is available now to source you any watch on the planet. Seriously, any watch. Also, we got a news from Donald Boat. He's been traded.
Big trade deal.
He's going over to Substack. He says unless he's granted a retainer and a favorable contract from Nikita and Elon Musk, he will be taking his talents to Substack. He's been having some fun. Is he really 6'7" feet tall? That's very tall, if that's true.
Yeah, so I didn't meet him in person, but I know someone who did meet him. And he's apparently super tall and very, very slim.
He says
a John-sized man.
Yeah, in order to get him on the team, you got to give him a low mileage used Corvette Z06, C5 or C6. It's funny. He's a funny guy.
How much is a low mileage Z06?
Probably $30,000, I would estimate. I mean, Z06 is like the performance package. I believe we have our next guest in the Restream waiting room.
Do we already?
Andrew Yang is joining. Oh, thank you so much. Welcome to the stream. How you doing?
Welcome to the show.
Good to meet you.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. Great to be here.
Thanks so much for hopping on early. Great to meet you. Wanted to have you on the show to get an update on you and everything going on, but then also there's so many questions about AI, AGI, UBI, so many acronyms. I'm sure we'll go through all of them, but why don't you just give us a little bit of a reintroduction for those who might not be familiar, what you're up to these days?
Sure thing. People remember me from my 2020 presidential campaign saying that AI was going to come, it was going to eat the jobs, and that we should shift to putting money into people's hands more quickly and broadly. Imagine making that case in Iowa in 2020 at truck stops before AI had actually arrived on the scene. But now here we are 5 years later, and I dare say a lot of the folks who are watching this are nodding their heads being like, oh yeah. We're going to do a number on a lot of rank and file entry-level workers. So over the last number of years, I've been trying to figure out how to get money back into people's hands. I was inspired by my friend Mark Cuban, who started Cost Plus Drugs. You guys had Mark on recently, right?
We did a couple weeks ago. He was great.
Yeah, so I thought, can we cost plus anything else in American life? And I realized that we're spending $170 billion or so on our cell phone services and data. I was paying Verizon over $100 a month, $140 a month to be precise. And meanwhile, Verizon and AT&T paid out $18 billion in shareholder dividends in the last 12 months. So you can kind of start doing some math and realize that Americans are paying twice as much for data as people in other countries. So today is the kickoff of Noble Mobile, where we try and put money back into Americans' hands and hopefully have people doom scroll a little bit less, live a little better. We're having a big party in New York City on Thursday night. You guys are not in New York, right? And have you guys come as VIPs and hang out.
We'll be there we'll be there spiritually. But breakdown. I know kind of the mechanics of Noble Mobile, but break it down for the audience. How does it actually work?
Well, but before I get into this, I'd actually love to put you guys on the spot and ask who you use for your wireless provider. So I said I use
Verizon. They've been fleecing me for years.
Verizon. Yeah.
I'm saying bad saying.
I actually have an iMessage here. Your bill is ready. This is not a joke. At 11:45, this came in.
Your bill is ready.
I just pay it, and I don't think too much about it. But I'm sure I'm getting fleeced because I probably signed up on some like super cheap contract about a decade ago, and it's gone up every month. And it's
dude,
it's
a
monopoly,
ads
right?
are like lock in the price in parentheses because we're just going to keep on raising it.
Yeah.
But the craziest thing is when you guys travel abroad, when I was on Verizon, I went to Europe with my family this summer, and the travel pass cost $10 a day to put yourself on the foreign carriers' towers. You know how much Verizon, AT&T are spending to put you on their partners' towers? About $2.50. So why on earth would you charge us $10 or $12 a day if it's going to cost you $2.50? Like the entire industry, when you start digging in, there's just a lot of profiteering.
Yeah. So you guys pay people to use their phone less. Does that mean I start out with but break down the actual mechanics of how that works on a month-to-month basis?
Sure thing. So check it out. I'll use myself. I know I use my phone for doom scrolling and social media a little bit too much, but at the same time, I consider myself an effective in-touch individual and kind of need my smartphone and don't want to count how much data I'm using. So the way Noble Mobile works is that you pay a $50 flat fee for unlimited data, and if you use it up the wazoo, then you paid $50, and that's the end of it. But if you use less than 20 gigs per month, then we'll give you cash back in the form of an end-of-month payment, data dividend, we call it, of up to $20. And then any money we give you will then grow at a 5.5% interest rate annualized so that your cell phone plan becomes like a mini savings vehicle without you having to think about it or do anything. And so this way you get
the best of both worlds. Do you guys hold on to those funds as long as somebody's like a customer? Is that how that works, or
you can take the money out anytime you want? It's your money, but if you leave it with us, we'll grow it at a higher rate than you're going to get someplace else, risk-free, because we wanted it to be a set it and forget it savings plan. One of our first investors was a guy named Scott Galloway, Prof G, who you guys probably know. Has he been on the show?
Not yet. Not yet.
Get him.
He's got to come on sometime.
Yeah.
I'll try. I'm seeing him later this week. So
that'd be amazing. Yeah, please let him know.
In your direction. But Scott's very passionate about trying to help young people in particular, young men, save money in a set it and forget it way. And so Noble Mobile, we want to do three things at once, which is a lot, but whatever. Number one, we want to see you actually pay closer to what you should be paying true value for your data. It's about half of what you're currently paying. Number two, we want to incentivize you to doom scroll a little less and look at your family's faces a little more. And number three, we want to make it easier for you to save money without having to think about it. So those are the things that we think we can accomplish.
That's a really cool flow.
What's the customer acquisition strategy besides you telling as many people as possible about it? You're starting there, but what's the GTM look like?
Sure thing. So one of the things we figured out was that I've got a following, Scott Galloway's got a following, Charlemagne's got a following, a lot of people have followings. And so if you want to help them save money and live a little better, you can tell them about Noble Mobile, and for every person you help them, but then we also will reward you. So what you're going to see is that there's going to be something of a collective that's now helping acquire customers and let people know about this. The model that everyone's familiar with is Ryan Reynolds, Mint Mobile. Ryan Reynolds shows up on commercials and whatnot. And so one of the jokes I tell is like I'm talking to various celebrities or influencers is like, look, instead of one Ryan Reynolds, they're going to be like 30 of us or 50 of us or whatnot. And then when I tell them Ryan Reynolds made $300 million, then they're
he did fantastically.
Enlightened self-interest kicks in, and people are like, okay, I'm definitely ready to tell my people. So we're in conversations right now with some very, very fun and fascinating figures with followings. Awesome. That's a lot of Fs. But this is like a consumer-centered, human-based movement to try and make this industry work better for us.
That's very cool.
What does it take to actually build a new telecom company like this? You guys obviously aren't setting up your own towers, but are you partnered with some bigger existing players, or what did that look like?
Yeah, it was a lot of work setting up our own towers. I had to get out the tool belt. Now, so you're obviously right. What we did is we licensed hundreds of millions of dollars worth of data from one of the big carriers. Mm-hmm. And the point I want to make to your incredibly savvy audience is look, you talk about you chose Verizon 10 years ago. I chose Verizon 25 years ago. Yeah. And we chose it based on something that we thought was network quality. I'm an important person.
Yeah, there was a map, and the Verizon map was more red than the other maps.
It was in little towns where you were, cities. It was this network's better than that one. Yeah, this one. It was just vibes based, basically.
Yeah. So over the last 10 to 20 years, what happened is all three carriers bulked up their networks to the point where they're all pretty excellent. And then now you have some satellite data that's getting piped through the network. So what happened is that we made a buying decision X years ago, and then in the time since. It kind of got leveled up and became commoditized. So what we're doing is we licensed hundreds of millions of dollars worth of data from one of the carriers, T-Mobile, and then now we can make it available to people in a way that's really going to again accomplish multiple goals. And the great thing is that it's in this day and age too, because check this out, guys. You're like me, I bet. And have approximately zero experience actually switching carriers. Maybe you've done it 0 times.
Yep.
I was the same way. I've been on Verizon for 25 years. Every device manufactured from 2018 on now has an eSIM where you can direct it to another network. You keep your number, keep your phone, takes 5 minutes, and you can just bingo bango switch to another network. Most consumers do not understand this. And even I knew it technically. But then when I actually switched from Verizon, even I was like, holy shit. I just ended a 25-year relationship in 5 minutes, and now I'm saving myself, $1,200 a year. This is like magic.
That's crazy.
So now in many ways, the goal is to spread the magic to as many Americans as possible.
Are you guys how does it? What's T-Mobile's or Noble Mobile's integrations with the actual hardware manufacturers? Are you guys working on deals with companies at the device level?
So we think most people are happy with their device and will just bring their own phone. There are some people that are under a contract with their carrier, and obviously there was a new iPhone launch just last week. Yeah. So there are some folks who, and by the way, this is true of you guys too. I love talking to people like you because we're on the same boat. So there was a period when every time a new iPhone came out, we were like, "Oh my God, I need that."
Line up, and then camp out.
Yeah. Remember the lines?
Yeah.
And then that stopped being true a number of months ago, where we're like, "What's the difference with this one? The camera's a little better. I'm not even really seeing it.
This one's orange."
And you can see that the device replacement cycle has just gotten longer and longer. So I talked before about how the networks have become at parity and commoditized. Our devices have kind of converged around a level that we're perfectly happy with. And so most people, we think, don't want a new phone necessarily. They just want to not be getting gouged every month. If you do want to get a new device and you decide to go through the carriers, by the way, I've done this. So I get a new iPhone of Verizon and the device is free, but I'm tied up in a 2-year contract where I'm paying Verizon a certain amount over this period. And I want the folks listening to this just to think about it for a second. The carrier's contracts with us are so profitable that they can zero out and subsidize a $1,200 device or a $1,000 device and be like, hey, it's free to you because we're making so much money off you, we're going to pay. I mean, obviously Apple's not giving them that device for free. Apple's getting paid a lot of money.
Yep.
So it would be more cost efficient for someone who really wants the iPhone 17 to buy one unlocked and then sign up with Noble. If you did the math, you'd actually save money on that versus getting it for free from a carrier. But most people are perfectly happy with their current device and might just want to try a different network.
Cool.
Well, congratulations on the launch. Super exciting. I'm excited to see the different partners that you put together. And I feel like you just can hit the campaign trail again, but this time for Noble Mobile.
Yeah, you know the playbook.
Just go truck stop to truck stop and just help people switch over.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys just read my mind. I'm coming to a truck stop near you in a hot minute. And it might not just be me. It might be Scott Galloway. It might be someone else in the Noble Collective. But this is going to be a really fun company to grow because no, it's an industry that's really past due for some modernization and some humanization.
Yeah.
Last question. Did you raise a bunch of money for this already?
Yeah, and I think you guys get to do a sound effect. But yeah, we raised we raised 10.3 million from
not just a sound effect, an authentic.
We have a real gong in the studio.
I did enjoy that. I want to bang that gong in person.
You're welcome. Anytime you're in LA, let us know.
Oh yeah, I'll let you know. I'll be in LA before you know it.
Fantastic.
But Scott's an investor.
Great.
A lot of other fun people are investors. Shout out to Corazon Capital for leading the round.
That's very fun.
And we're gonna grow like a weed. It's gonna be fun.
Amazing.
Fantastic. Well,
great.
Congratulations.
Great to get the update, and we'll see you soon. Hopefully.
Yeah, we'll talk to you soon, Andrew. Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys. See you in LA. Appreciate you having me.
Cheers.
Bye. And if you're thinking about going to his event in New York, you need a place to stay. Book a wander with inspiring views, hotel-grade amenities, dreamy beds, top-tier cleaning, and 24/7 concierge service. It's a vacation home, but better, folks. Find your happy place on wander.com. Hey, there's some folks that are traveling, some folks that are going to be in LA, some folks wondering.
John Exley says,
what's the
Scott
damage?
Galloway appearing on TBPN would be a milestone for me. The very first time I force quit my YouTube app.
So, yeah, I was about
honestly,
I literally am about to DM John Exley to know, like, is he that anti-Scott? Because I feel like we have we have a wide breadth of guests here. We can have a conversation with all sorts of people. But if he's
I'd be interested.
John,
we gotta let John weigh in on key decisions like this.
I think so.
But yeah.
Anyway. What else is in the news? Someone's hosting a website on disposable vape. Did you see this on Hacker News? Taylor Otwell says, me stressing about how we're going to build the best back-end infrastructure for the future of agentic workflows and quantum MCP.
Are they making internet-connected vapes now? Is that?
They are. I've seen these. These in person.
Thank you. Finally.
The LCD screens, the actual screens have gotten so cheap that you can run an entire computer on them, basically. And these are disposable.
Can you run an AI factory or a supercomputer?
I don't think you can mine Bitcoin effectively. I don't think you can inference the most cutting-edge frontier AI models, but you can do a lot more on a disposable vape. We should get Tyler to build something.
Bobby Cosmic, the lone soldier, and on our TBPN Twitch.
Yes, thank you.
What if I want to stream TBPN for 3 hours a day on 5G? Would Noble Mobile be a good fit?
That's the benchmark. You can't have a carrier.
I have a feeling that
3 hours of live streaming a day.
I think this
is critical.
I think it's interesting. So Noble Mobile, I think the messaging is like a bit. They're trying to do a bunch of things at once. I think just a $50 phone plan that helps you use your phone less is like enough of messaging, and I think that they can get a bunch of people to sign up for that.
Yep.
Is it going to be a competitive bloodbath? Yes.
I don't know. There's something about saving money that can create these interesting flywheels. Remember Acorns? Didn't that company do very well? It was I believe it was a consumer credit card that every time you swiped it, it would round up to the nearest dollar and put the cents in a savings account and compound. And so it was a way to save money. And I believe they got to maybe $1 billion valuation. It felt like it was.
They almost SPAC'd. It got canceled. They had 120 million of revenue. This was one of those things, like early fintech company that was like winning, but then didn't. I don't think they've ever gotten out. I'd be interested to see what happens with that business. But yeah, just save money on your mobile plan is like a simple message. I think Andrew building a coalition of celebrities that feel good about promoting this. Use your phone less. But again, I mean, it's going to be. Like you said, you don't think that much. We're not the target audience, I think, for Noble Mobile.
Yeah.
But there's a bunch of people out there that.
Yeah, I think I like the savings concept. I'm worried about the revealed preference of people say they don't want to scroll. People like to scroll.
No, I think his argument would be even at $50 a month, it's still cheaper than.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, if you're scrolling X, you're going to be treated to a somewhat tweaked algorithm that Nikita's been working on. Peter Yang breaks it down. He says he hasn't seen a, quote, "it's so over," RIP product or this changes everything, cringe tweet on here in days, the algorithm must be working. And so Dylan Field put it to the test. Founder of Figma, of course, he said, it's so over. RIP cringe tweets. New X algo changes everything. And as funny as that post is, it didn't go viral. And so I think that they might have nerfed that meta. We're seeing a new meta emerge already with the be Jeff Bezos, be Sam Altman, be Elon Musk, spawn in like the 4chan style.
When one meta dies, another is born.
Yes, there is always a new meta. Never lose hope.
I've been liking the new ones. I think it's a funny way to tell a story, and I've actually been learning something.
Yes, and it is more in depth. Like it has more to unpack. It's typically hard to get a lot of text to go viral. The viral posts tend to just be like 1 or 2 sentences, but these longer stories, when they're told in this format, seem to do quite well. At the same time, they're rife with misinformation a lot of times, as we've learned from actually reading them. But you got to go to the source sometimes.
Well, I think we have Tim Higgins.
We have our next guest
waiting room
from the Wall Street Journal. Tim Higgins, welcome to the stream. How are you doing?
Hey, thanks guys for having me.
I believe we were just reading some of your reporting about Elon Musk and the pay package. I believe you authored that, correct?
Yeah, I write a lot about Elon.
Yeah,
and it's the $1 trillion man.
Soon,
of the month, right?
And you have $1 trillion hair.
Fantastic hair.
So it's fitting that you would write.
But I mean, we don't need to wade into Elon territory. Give us the update on the book.
Yeah, congratulations on the launch.
Well, thank you. iWar, it is out today. It's a great corporate drama about Apple, about all of these rivals who want to displace Apple as the gateway to the digital world, the gateway being the iPhone, the App Store that really changed the world almost 20 years ago.
Yep.
The ultimate toll booth.
We were feeling the power of iMessage and the lock-in there and how hard it is to build other products that want to deal with communication in your life. If you're in the iMessage world, Apple has you.
There's so many different angles.
Right? And people think, you just switch the phone and then you're in a different ecosystem. Like there's a lot of threads holding on. Walk us through the inspiration, the reporting process. How much was FOIA'd? How much was reading through, leaked tech emails versus original reporting, talking to sources? What is your process?
When did you start writing this book, by the way? Because this is a story that's been unfolding.
For years.
Well, it's to your point, it's been a 10-year fight for Apple. I mean, people started complaining about that power almost from the get-go, but you really started to see the seeds of what I think of as a rebellion, almost like a Boston Tea Party moment of these colonists in the new world that Apple created, kind of rising up over that Apple tax, what they call it Apple tax, the 15 to 30% commission that Apple takes on digital services and sales, right? And also more so the rules, right? Exactly. And so when I'm a business columnist at the Journal, but I had been the Apple beat reporter at the Journal. I had been the Apple beat reporter at Bloomberg. So I'd written about Apple for many years, and I followed the Tim Sweeney epic lawsuit against Apple very closely, and it paid attention every day during that lengthy trial in 2021, and just was struck by the scale of the drama. In one way, Tim Sweeney is a very interesting protagonist. He's started the company from scratch, had this vision. He's a world builder beyond just being an entrepreneur. He's thinking about the future, whether it's the metaverse and how Fortnite might play in that. And he was looking at Apple as going too far, taking too much, really kind of against that idea of the open internet, right? Yeah. And then you have Apple, which is also a storied U.S. company, which had really built something very important to everyday life. The iPhone, clearly the center of many people's digital lives, digital experience. And their kind of argument is, hey, we built this. We keep it running. We're giving you all of these customers. You kind of owe us a little, and isn't that fair? And so you have these this really great clash of how should this play out? And so it struck me as interesting And as I started kind of thinking about it in a bigger way, it really seemed as if it wasn't just Tim Sweeney. You've got the Spotify element. You've got the regulators in Europe. You've got other tech companies in the US and around the world really kind of rising up in this kind of interesting moment, which I thought in a lot of ways was surprising, right? If you went back several years ago and talked about monopolies in the U.S. And Microsoft, the old Microsoft, of course, was attacked by the DOJ and fought those allegations. But in the more modern era, Google, Amazon, those were the big tech companies that were painted with that monopoly brush, fairly or not. But Apple, in a lot of ways, especially in Washington, D.C., was seen as something to aspire to. And what we've seen in the last few years, because of Epic, because of Spotify, because of others, has changed the conversation around the power of Apple and the power it has, not just with that tax, if you will, but about the control they have on the digital world.
Yeah. How did you?
Is Apple good or bad? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm not gonna make you condense it down. I did have we're extremely sympathetic to the startups, businesses building in the Apple ecosystem and creating a value for Apple users, and then obviously paying the tax. I had a funny experience, John and I, the other day. I was trying to download an app. I realized I downloaded a fake app.
Yeah, that's right.
And then I got to get the benefit of the Apple toll booth because I just immediately went into my subscriptions and canceled it in one click. Yep. And I was just thinking at that time, if this was just some regular app on the internet, it would have made it way harder. Or they maybe would have tried to not let me.
And that's Apple's argument. They say, this isn't a tax. Exactly. This is you're licensing our software.
Yeah, and it can be
it's a fee. It's fair.
Yes,
they're providing a service. They're providing security. They're providing a ecosystem that the user wants to be part of.
Yeah. Were you able to uncover any special deals that Apple has brokered with big companies?
Well, yeah, and
I feel like 30%. Sometimes they certainly don't want to mention that that's ever been negotiated down, but potentially
there's also the way in which Audible does their pricing. You can't buy books. You got to subscribe to that
credits.
Part of their weird is their system designed to get around these rules. I'm curious. Interested to know about what are the weird edge cases. What are the special deals?
So one of the things about Apple, and you compare it to the Android system, Google's operating system, is that Apple likes to pride itself on not doing special deals. Now, its critics would point to some edge cases that they feel are leaning towards helping others, but generally, that's kind of the deal, is that Apple has some rules and it wants everybody to kind of follow them. Now, it's confusing because sometimes there's categories and, we can get into that. Sometimes Roblox is perhaps treated differently compared to Epic Games in the old way, but they just kind of put it under the category of they don't like to do special deals. Whereas Android does do special deals, in part because they feel that they have to compete against Apple to win those hot apps, right? The hot video games that drive so much of the sales in this ecosystem. If they're seeing the games go into the App Store and Apple, they feel at a disadvantage. So they're always trying to create an Apple-like experience in the Google world, if you will. And it creates an interesting dynamic out there. It kind of shows how these kind of things play out, right? And so one of the things you see in the book is, well, why did Tim Sweeney, why did he go to war against two of the most powerful companies at the same time? And when I say those companies, I mean Apple and Google. It's because he first went to Google and tried to get his app so you could go outside of the App Store in the Google world, in the Android world, and download it that way. And he didn't get a lot of success. And part of that was, he would find out later, was that phone companies and some of his competitors in the video game world who he was trying to partner with to create an alternative app store that would be available on the Android system, they were getting deals from Google not to do stuff like that. Now, they could do that, but they didn't have any incentive to do it, right? So he figures this out, And then he's like, he's got to go after them both at the same time, because Google is accusing him of basically not complaining about Apple's deal when he's got a lot of complaints about that. So he gambles that he can take to the courts this case that Google and Apple are out of line. And it doesn't go very well for him at the beginning. You remember his lawsuit against Apple, he basically lost most of it. Yeah. Now, he would be successful against Google later on. But Sweeney essentially loses most of the case. And in Apple, the way they handled it, probably pushing too far, angering the judge over the one thing that she was upset about, this idea of that Apple wouldn't allow developers to steer users to other websites to make payments. And she wanted them to be able to do this. And Apple made it so difficult that she really came down hard on them earlier this year. And essentially, very cleverly, these companies now are able to do that. And you see Spotify and Epic take advantage of it immediately, directing users right outside of the walled garden of Apple to make their upgrades to the apps or pay their video game stuff. That is pretty remarkable crack in the Apple ecosystem.
Have they been super effective at driving the majority of users to pay outside of the ecosystem, or is it more like half of the users are opting for these alternative payment rails and half, or are they just saying like the only way to buy is now outside of the Apple walled garden?
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable. What I understand is that the early data is pretty good for companies that are doing this. One of the other kind of data points that I look at is that Spotify several years ago, as it was thinking about how it could fight Apple in this regard, essentially started doing A/B testing in Europe with its Android app, just to kind of run a testing that was essentially like, if this was Apple, this would be the Apple rules, and without the rules, and kind of a variation of all that, to see how much that was hurting them. And the data, according to the records that I've looked at, was pretty significant. That it was A, considered a bad user experience, and B, they were losing out a lot of upgrades. And so, the early suggestion is that users like to do that.
Mm-hmm. Like to go outside.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Bullish.
Well, bearish
for
everybody but Apple.
It's exciting.
What else are you following going? I don't want to. I want people to buy and read the book.
I just bought it on Audible. I'm looking forward to listening to it.
But
downloading it now.
Did you just pay the Apple tax?
Yeah. How much do you get? It charged me $16. Are you going to get?
Well,
I hope you
we
get
don't need to break down.
No,
we don't need to break it all down. But what is Audible's deal? I'm actually curious. Do you have any idea?
It's one of those. It's interesting. You just take a step back to Amazon and Apple and how they were some of the early fights in this kind of war. You go back several years ago, and this was back when Steve Jobs was alive, and Amazon is advertising that you can buy your books and not have to. And you can read it on the iPhone, and you don't have to pay for it. It doesn't go through Apple's system, and Apple was just steaming over this. And essentially they came out with these rules that if you were selling it in the digital world, you had to basically use Apple's system. Yeah. And so that's why you would see on the Amazon app, you couldn't buy through the app. You couldn't buy books through the app because they didn't want to pay the Apple tax, if you will. And one of the first companies after this rule earlier this year was changed because of the court ruling was Amazon. Mm-hmm. You can go buy your digital books now through the app because it's directing you outside the Apple system.
Yeah, I remember I would click and wind up in a web browser even though I had the Amazon app installed every time.
What should people be paying attention to going forward? I know a lot of these cases, Apple has an opportunity to kind of fight, even after the judge decides one thing, they can come back and say, continue to fight it. But what else is working its way through the courts?
I mean, Apple's appealing. They feel the judge got it wrong in the U.S. They have been fined in Europe, where regulators there fine them over their conduct of how they treated music apps like Spotify. Spotify behind along with other tech companies, pushing for the DMA, that kind of landmark tech bill that was passed a few years ago that aims to limit big platforms like Apple. Apple's already been fined for that, but they are working to make rules that they think are fair, but that the folks that are against Apple would say don't kind of take the spirit of the law, and really kind of an example of how Apple fights this stuff tooth and nail. So that's to watch. The bigger issue here, perhaps, is just the way that Apple has been kind of painted as a monopolist, fairly or not. It overshadows, or it kind of tails them now as they go forward into new technologies. Everything they do is looked at as, is Apple abusing its power as they move into new spaces? So in AI, for example, I think investors would say Apple's behind in AI right now. There's a lot of frustration out there. And so even when they do a deal with OpenAI to help kind of bolster their chat capabilities with Siri, you see Elon Musk come in and sue and say, wait a second, this is monopoly behavior. Apple is using its power to hurt other AI companies with this kind of deal, right? So put aside the merits of the lawsuit, you got Apple's getting in this position where it's having to defend basically everything it does against the idea that it is a monopoly. And that is a distraction that the company has to deal with. And it makes me remember a generation ago where Microsoft had a very similar situation as the DOJ went after it, and regulators in Europe went after it. And Bill Gates and others at Microsoft have talked about how that period was a massive distraction and contributed to them falling behind as the new edge technologies took over. They missed out on mobile, if you will, and some other things. And there's some similarities here as you look at AI and where Apple is at this moment.
Yeah, that's fascinating. It is such a distraction because, with these high stakes lawsuits, the CEO has to go. Like, you just can't delegate it fully. I mean, I'm sure there's teams of lawyers and whole legal departments that handle 90% of it, but it's still something at the top.
They haven't done any big M&A, right? They're doing these they're doing a bunch of little deals, but nothing.
It's hard to get locked in and focus on the next generation technology.
Anyway, well, congratulations, Tim.
Congratulations on the book. The book is iWar. It's available everywhere books are sold. Please go.
I'm excited to read it and come back on anytime.
Leave a review if you buy it. Leave a 5-star review.
We said earlier on the show, we made it into the journal for the first time ourselves yesterday.
It's a full circle.
I read that. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you so much.
The journal is the backbone of TBPN.
It really is. The reporting is fantastic, and we appreciate everything you do. Thank you so much for hopping on, Stro.
Thank you both. Have a good day.
Talk to you soon. Bye. And up next, we have Alex from OpenAI coming out of the Restream waiting room into the TBPN.
I'm going to let you start it. I'll be right
I will kick it off with Alex from OpenAI. We are bringing in Alex. How are you doing? Good to meet you.
Hey, how's it going? Nice to meet you too.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for joining. Would love to get a brief introduction on yourself, your role within OpenAI, and then the update today.
For sure. So, hey, I'm Alex. I'm the product lead for Codex. And it's been a pretty fun morning. We've spent the morning looking for GPUs because we shipped a new model yesterday, and demand was a little bit too higher than forecasted.
Okay.
And so we were running the model actually a lot slower than we were hoping, and luckily we just fixed that. So the update, we just shipped a new model for Codex. Codex is our coding agent.
Yep.
It's an agent you can work with everywhere you code, so like in your terminal, your IDE, GitHub, even your phone, which is actually a crowd favorite.
That's great.
The goal for Codex is to build it into an AI teammate. So, just like a human teammate, you start out working together with it. Eventually, you start delegating tasks to it. And then eventually, you just give it a laptop, some permissions, and a job, and you just say, please prompt me with tasks that you think are worth doing.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
I have so many questions. First, I'm interested. You running the model slower actually helps you if you're in a GPU crunch? Is that just because you're spreading the amount of inference across a broader user base, essentially?
Yeah, just think if you, on your laptop, if you open way too many programs, they all just kind of run a little slower.
Okay.
So the solution, you could close programs on your computer, but we don't want to do that.
No, of course, because you have other clients and other users and businesses and stuff. Take me through some of the use cases. I mean, we were talking to Doug O'Loughlin over at SemiAnalysis, Fabricated Knowledge, and he was saying that he'll use what is traditionally a coding agent to actually go and do something that looks like a deep research report. I had a sort of magical result where I used a coding agent to do a deep research report, but then instantiate it in HTML. And then I was able to open an HTML page locally. And it was this amazing thing because it just has different set of UI that it can pull from that's not native to just the ChatGPT app. And so that's one world, but then I'm sure there's people that are using this in the business context, deploying it into like large code bases. Where are people having the most success these days?
Yeah, totally. I mean, coding agents are really flexible. Yeah. The primary use cases for coding agents and, in Codex as well are to write code, answer questions, and review code as well. And that's really what's been sticking. So we've seen like well over 10x growth in usage just over the past month.
Wow.
And most of that is improvements in how people use it to write code and answer questions. But we're now
so just to be clear, you said 10x growth in the last month?
Yeah, over that.
Insane.
It's growing like crazy. And most of this is just because we've been improving a ton.
Yeah.
So like, if you go back, rewind a little bit over a month ago, we had the Codex CLI, which is a coding agent in your terminal.
Yep.
We've landed a ton of improvements to that.
Yep.
Some people like buttons. And they like using, the coding agent next to the code that they're editing themselves.
Sure.
So we shipped a VS Code extension. Okay. VS Code's a, really popular IDE.
Of course.
And, that's quickly becoming a super popular surface as well. And, one of the special things about Codex is that it doesn't only run locally on your computer. Mm-hmm. Like a teammate, it can also run on its own computer, and we call that Codex Cloud Tasks. And so we've landed a bunch of improvements there as well to make it like way faster, and other things. So
that's a huge unlock for mobile, probably, right?
Yeah, it's a huge. I mean, you basically can't really code on mobile unless you have that. And so a lot of the work we've been doing is just like making those like fundamental surfaces where you use Codex better.
Yep.
And that kind of started that growth curve, which we're really excited about. And then yesterday, sort of building on the success of GPT-5 and listening to a lot of the feedback we've been seeing around how people use GPT-5 specifically for coding in Codex, we shipped a new model, which is GPT-5 Codex, a version of Codex that's like basically like further optimized specifically for the Codex type use cases. And that's been really cool. For example, one of the big areas of feedback people had was that they sometimes GPT-5 would think a little longer than they were hoping, specifically when they asked the coding question in Codex, when they were just asking a quick question. But then sometimes they wanted it to work longer. And so one of the things we did is we made it so that with GPT-5 Codex, we can actually more dynamically change how much time we're spending solving the user's question. And so, for instance, if you ask a quick question, you just get an instant answer. But also we're seeing people, using this thing and just like letting it run for over 7 hours. And that's an arbitrary number. I'm sure you can get it to go longer depending on the problem.
That's wild.
And so we're seeing a lot of feedback like that people are really excited about. The model's also, because we had the opportunity to really go deep on software engineering and train for those use cases, the model is also a little better at things like code quality, front end, steerability via agents.md, and some other things like that. Yeah.
I saw a post earlier from Theo. He said GPT-5 Codex is, as far as I know, the first time a lab has bragged about using fewer tokens. Hope this becomes a trend. Do you think that's going to become a trend?
I mean, I guess like tokens or not tokens, like really the thing is like fast. Speed is really important, and I think we're going to brag a lot about speed. It's kind of fun. We want to brag about both sides of it, right? We want to brag about being really fast for the interactive use cases, and we also want to brag about being able to do a ton of work independently.
Yeah.
That graph got mixed reactions on Twitter. I don't know if you guys want to pull it up, but it's a little hard to read, but I think it's a really fun graph where you basically see the skew of like, I don't know how I'm mirrored here, but basically on easy queries, we're using like 90% fewer tokens to answer your query. Yep. And then on hard tasks, complex tasks, we're like basically using like double.
Are you using the term model router? Is there something that you can share on the architecture there that is actually driving that? Because that feels like a huge unlock. It was, of course, magical the first time you went to ChatGPT and got it to dump out, pages and pages of coherent text, and you get to the bottom and it's all coherent still. And you're like, if you're coming from the GPT-3 world, you're like, wow, this is a huge breakthrough. But then quickly you realize, like, I don't necessarily always need 20 pages of response. I can have a smaller output. And so is there anything that you can share there?
Yeah, I mean, the team really cooked here, and I expect us to, it's like part of the exciting stuff that we're doing with Codex is like these like very bespoke interventions.
Sure.
But no, it doesn't have a router,
okay.
But there's a little bit of secret sauce there that we're not going to go too much into.
Yeah, of course. How are you thinking about like model naming conventions and model numbering conventions? There was a time when model number correlated to like big circle, and then GPT-5 was like a much more almost holistic set of improvements. You've brought those to Codex with Codex 5, but is there a world where Codex diverges? Are you always building on top of the same like release cadence now? Is there anything about how you think about messaging, what actually changed to the actual user to know, hey, it's time to dip back in if you tested this or you want to go deeper in a certain area?
Totally. I mean, so our goals with Codex are just to build an amazing coding agent. And if you think about what an agent is, it's a combination of like the model and what we call the harness, which is kind of like the set of tools that the model has, and then an interface for the user around that. And so the reason we put Codex in the name is because basically we wanted to just like, we're really investing in Codex and like in software engineering generally. And so we wanted to have the opportunity to go like much deeper and push harder on things that like might not benefit like sort of general users of a model. And in fact, we wanted even the ability to like make certain things worse. So not that I've gone and checked, but like GPT-5 Codex, if you're not using it for Codex, is probably going to do worse at like a bunch of general tasks than GPT-5 will.
Sure. React to this Rune post. Right now is the time where the takeoff looks the most rapid to insiders. We don't program anymore. We just yell at Codex agents, says Rune on X, but may look slow to everyone else as the general chatbot medium saturates. People have been saying, oh, this is the 90% of code being written by AI agents. And there's this debate on, are we just writing 10 times as much code? Are we doing 10 times less work? Like, give me a little bit more color on how you're using Codex internally to build the actual product.
Yeah. I mean, we use Codex internally a ton or a lot. And, you know, I think we're at the point now where, you know, for like writing code, these coding agents are like massively adopted. And, you know, it's kind of a stylistic choice, like how much of the code it's writing, but it's like the vast majority. You know, I will say that our goal isn't to like, we don't actually have a goal of like, yeah, let's like make sure the maximum amount of code is written by agents. It's like really what matters is like your velocity as a team, right? But sort of my like maybe slightly spicy take here is like actually one of the greatest limiting factors on the utility of coding agents right now is not like the model's ability to write code, but it's actually the human ability to like just prompt it and like make use of the agent. So for example, we shipped a code review feature that's like, you know, doing really well a few weeks ago. And, you know, the model is capable of doing code review. We actually did a ton of work to make it even better at code review. So when Codex does a code review for you, it'll like actually get a whole copy of the code base. It can like go read everything, even outside of your PR. It can even execute code to validate, which like a human is probably going to be a little too lazy to do normally. But the big unlock isn't even necessarily that. Like even GPT-5 is a great code reviewer. But the limiting factor is like, are you going to go prompt the model to code review every single PR that you get? And the answer is no. So what we did is we just like automated that, built it in a nice way, like integrated with GitHub. And now we're seeing, you know, it's just reviewing the vast majority of PRs in the bin OpenAI repos and catching like serious bugs. It's actually kind of become a meme when, you know, so we ask people internally like, hey, react with thumbs up if it's good, just so we can like kind of see. And like reply with what's wrong with this review if it catches an issue that the engineer disagrees with. And, you know, often it'll be the case that an engineer will kind of see this issue, reply and say, yeah, I disagree. And then like 2 days later, it'll be like, actually, this was a mistake and we need to actually follow the model's catch.
What does it take to make it on the OpenAI Codex team these days? I mean, it feels like the skill set of just someone who's a programmer is changing. Now you're prompting, designing. What is it? Give me some advice for young people or people entering the workforce.
I think the thing I would say for OpenAI Codex team, and by the way, we are hiring both folks externally, and then also, you know, obviously people can transfer internally. Probably the two most important things is kind of a you can just do things attitude and speed. And I think those are pretty general things that I would recommend. You know, if you mentioned like advice for young folks, like I think it's like a sort of crazy time now to be early career because so much is just possible to do and possible to learn quickly. But at the same time, because of that, everyone else is like just doing a lot of stuff and learning a lot of stuff quickly, right? So I think to like really make the most of that, the key is to just like really do stuff, especially like if you're in a technical field, start doing stuff beyond your coursework, but actually start building things.
Yeah, increasing returns to like high agency. It's funny, we're in the era of agents, but then also high agency people seem to be doing better than ever. It's kind of a paradox, but it's a good time to be able to have a positive attitude and actually go and just try and build things. It's a good time.
Yeah, and I think this is true. Go ahead.
No, go for it.
Yeah.
No, I was just going to say, I think this is true as well at work, right? Like maybe before you would have a number of like very specialized role, like PM, designer, front-end engineer, back-end engineer, like, you know, SRE. And now because of all these coding agents, like everyone is able to just do a lot more. And so you can have people like owning like entire problems end to end. You know, one fun example actually leading up to yesterday's launch is our designer built this like really cool ASCII animation of a coin that's rotating.
That's cool.
And you know, that's like kind of a hard thing to get right.
Oh yeah.
And so over the weekend, he just like vibe coded an ASCII animation editor.
Whoa,
like he vibe coded an app that lets him like edit the, you know, the
wild.
coin.
Yeah.
And like, that's like such like stack compression.
Totally.
And it's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, there used to be a time when it was like you're a front engineer, you know JavaScript, but you don't know Ruby on Rails or Python in the back end, and like the back end guy doesn't know or gal doesn't know JavaScript or whatever, and they got to talk to each other, and there's loss in translation stuff. So yeah, it's an entirely new era. Very exciting.
Yeah, and it comes with problems too, right? Like if you have all these folks. Like the ASCII animation viewer I mentioned, like that's throwaway code. So I guess there's not much tech debt. It's just like pure acceleration. We actually write a lot of throwaway code, like different kinds of dashboards, editors, mini tools. But then, you know, sometimes you have folks who are like specialized in one thing now, like able to write code for a different thing. And, you know, that actually creates a different kind of problem, which is like code review and expertise. And so that's why like what we're trying to do with Codex now is like we're investing in making like the fundamental like code gen experience great when just writing code, but we're also starting to like reach out now. So we're really investing in code review because that's like actually becoming the bottleneck, like having qualified people be confident in code. We're really investing in validation. So like before you review the code, like can you assert functional correctness? One thing that Codex can do now is like take screenshots. It'll like actually write a playwright script to like manipulate the website and then take the right screenshot of it so you can actually look before you read the code. And then we're thinking about, you know, where else can we make it really easy to engage the agent before it actually like gets to you on your computer doing work.
It's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you for the update.
Thank you so much for hopping on the stream. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys.
Good luck out there.
Have a good rest of your day.
GPU's on fire.
Bye.
Good luck. Well, that concludes our guests for the day.
Basically,
we got to jump. We got to catch a flight. I got to listen to iWar, which is in my Audible now by Tim Higgins. You can go find it in Audible, find it on Amazon. We will see you tomorrow live from Meta Connect.
Later show tomorrow. 4:30, where I think we're starting. We'll be posting updates on X, keeping you updated, and stay tuned. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a wonderful
Thanks to Bobby Cosmic for holding it down in the Twitch chat. The whole
legend.
Thank you to John Exley in the YouTube chat. We'll see you guys
later. The team's
later.
like